Roddy Jones will join us in just a moment. Let's start by talking about this NC State defense, Dave, which has come on strong in the last few games. They are the best in the ACC against the rush, and Bradley Chubb is a big reason why.
It's always fun, Tom, when you have a chance to talk about one of the true fire breathers off the edge, and this guy fits that bill. When you talk about defensive players of the year in the ACC, this guy's got to be on your list. 17 tackles for loss, 8 sacks. He can defend the pass. He can defend the run. Miami will have to find him and get him blocked. He'll line up all over the place. It is senior day here at NC State, and one of the true unsung heroes of NC State over the last 4 years is senior running back Matt Days, closing in on 1,000 yards, 7 100-yard rushing days this year. It is truly Matt Days today.
And 3 rushing touchdowns last week in the win against Syracuse for Matt Days. We go to the other side of the ball and Miami. This is a team that's won 2 games in a row, achieved bowl eligibility, Dave, and they've got 3 great running backs as well.
The running game has been a little bit inconsistent for Miami, but make no mistake, their runners can get it done. A little bit of injury in the offensive line, but you talk about running the football. Mark Walton, outstanding day last week, and they've got a stable of running backs. Joe Yerby had 1,000 yards last year. Gus Edwards had a big day last week against Virginia. It's a 3-headed monster running the football. They'll need them to be big. Now, we've got some stars senior-wise. There's some young kids that can play for Miami as well.
You could go around the country, scour the country, and look for 3 true freshman linebackers that are better than this Miami crew, and I don't think you'd find them, Arch. And they're led by Shaq Quarterman. He leads this team in tackles, but he also wears the C on his chest for the captain spot as a true freshman. Defensive coordinator Manny Diaz said that he is a natural-born alpha, Arch. He's the undisputed leader of this Miami defense, a defense that has been very underrated through the course of the year.
Well, I love that line. When we talked to Manny Diaz, he said, natural-born alpha. I can't wait to watch Shaq Quarterman get after it.
Miami won the toss, elected to defer. This is Hines. Up past the 25 for Nyheim Hines on the return for the NC State Wolfpack. 5-5 on the season and 2-4 in conference play. ACC football brought to you in HD by your local Tire Pros dealer. Win a VIP trip for 2 to the ACC Championship game in Orlando and Continental Tires at TireProSweepstakes.com.
NC State will show a number of formations to try to confuse a young defense for Miami. But make no mistake, this defense can run, and they will be aggressive and in the face of Ryan Finley today. Ryan Finley, solid pocket passer. You see the completion percentage. He's had a few interceptions over the last couple of weeks, but he has been a good first-year starter, transfer from Boise State.
Finley threw for a season-high 340 yards last week at Syracuse in the 35-20 victory at the Dome for NC State. 1st and 10 for the Pack. Days breaking through and beyond the 35 yards for Matt Days, the senior from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Here are the Food Line impact players, NC State on offense.
A lot of good skill players, but Kelvin Harmon has really come on. Had a big day last week. You see the 101 yards, big touchdown, but 17.7 yards a catch and 5 touchdowns. That leads the team in touchdown receptions.
Jalen Samuels also had a rushing touchdown last week against the Orange in a winning effort. Finley, first pass of the day, is incomplete up near the 45. Nyheim Hines, the sophomore, the intended receiver.
You talk about a Food Line defensive impact players. Corn Elder, senior corner, one of their top tacklers on the team. He's a good cover guy as well. He's a big play guy. He just has the ability to get his hands on the football and can change a game. He has return abilities. If he intercepts one, look out.
44% on 3rd down during the season for NC State, 6th in the ACC, and presented with that situation on their first drive. It's Days, he'll get it, trying to create, going to come up short of the first down marker by about 1.5 yards after he got 4, and Finley sent it his way.
And a nice job out there on the outside, because that was a play where they had Miami outflanked with the quick throw to Days to the outside, but Miami can really run defensively and were able to limit that to just a 2-yard pickup, and it forced a 3-and-out. So nice job by the young Miami defense to start the game.
A.J. Cole to punt. Braxton Berrios is the deep man. Wants the fair catch, makes it successfully at the 23-yard line. Food Line impact players for Miami. taking over on offense, Dave.
Well, Stacey Coley's been the featured guy at the wide receiver spot. Been here for a long time, made a lot of plays. He's the touchdown receptions, and he leads the team in receptions. But this guy right here is a special player, David Njoku. Njoku is a matchup nightmare. He'll line up in the slot. They'll move him around. You see the size at 6'4", 245, and he can really run. He is right there in the slot.
He's got a touchdown catch in each of the last 3 games. Kaya's pass deflected and it hits the turf. Incomplete. Looking for Amon Richards, and Tocho was defending.
Jack Tocho had an interception a week ago, Tom. We saw it against Syracuse. Excellent job here of just squatting down on the route. Bump and run man coverage. Just does not respect the speed. Squats down on the route and is right there to make the play. Ill-advised throw that time by Kaya on the inside shoulder. Needed to be outside.
Kaya is the junior from Los Angeles, California. 36th start of his career. Whistles halt the play.
Timeout. Miami.
So you heard the voice of our referee, Jeff Heiser. Timeout for the Canes and first-year head coach, Mark Richt.
No score between Miami and NC State. Food Lion impact players. Arius Moore, linebacker, will be all over the field. 11.5 tackles for loss. Had 4 last week. When Josh Jones leads his team in tackles, he'll be down in the box as a safety.
89 tackles on the season for Josh Jones. His second down for Miami. That is Walton driven back by the pack. Justin Jones, number 27.
His 5th tackle for loss on the year. And these are 2 defenses that will camp out in your backfield. And it's something that NC State, for whatever reason, is in their DNA. Their defensive front creates havoc for whoever they play. And Justin Jones with another tackle for loss. That's 72 tackles for loss for NC State.
And a loss of 6 on the play. NC State the best against the rush in the conference and 4th in the nation. They'll swing it out. Herndon near the 20, dragged down. It's going to be 4th down. He only got 3. Josh Jones wrapping him up for the Wolfpack.
Talk about how Josh Jones likes to play down around the line of scrimmage. He defends against the run, but he's outstanding in coverage as well. He's able to track down the tight end Herndon and tackles him for a minimal gain. So 2 really good defensive sequences for Miami first and NC State in their opportunity.
Justin Vogel will punt to Braylon Cherry. Vogel's second best in the conference. Almost 44 yards per punt. He drives Cherry back to the 25. Cherry to the outside. Turns it upfield. And Cherry bumped out of bounds and into Miami territory. Vogel had to knock him out. 53 yards on the punt. And the return goes 30 for Cherry.
Now, sometimes the length of the punt, Tom, sets up the return. Because it was such a good punt, 53 yards, it allowed Cherry to retreat, have some room to check out the coverage. He got a couple of key blocks and was able to get down along the Miami sideline, got bumped out of bounds. Good tackle there by Vogel, the punter. Big hit on the sideline, but a big return by Cherry to give NC State the short field opportunity.
Well, Vogel is 6'4", 215, and a senior from Tampa, Florida, forced to make the play. So NC State comes out for its second series. Great field position. And Matt Days, it appears, is going to take that direct snap day.
Wildcat set. Watch for Jalen Samuels, number 1, to come in motion.
Days. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Shaq Quarterman, the tackle on Days.
Roddy, whenever you've got young linebackers like this, a lot of motion and movement can disrupt them. It didn't look like Quarterman was affected at all.
It sure didn't, Dave. He was right on top of it, and that was one of the things that Manny Diaz said he's so good at. It's the instincts that have made the true freshman such a good tackler early in the season.
Finley back at quarterback. They give it off. Days tried to cut it back. He's tackled at the 45. He's going to lose one. Joe Jackson, number 99 for the Canes.
Another one of those guys, they've been singing his praises. Joe Jackson, the freshman from Gulliver Prep in Homestead, Florida. A kid they have high expectations for. You saw the speed and ability to get the edge as a defensive end.
3rd and 11 for the Wolfpack. Here in the first quarter. Flags are out.
defense, number 80, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's our referee, Jeff Heeser. Time for a Carolina Ford Keys to the game with Dave Archer.
When you look at Miami and what they need to do is they like to strike balance. Had really good balance a week ago, 222 yards on the ground, 228 in the air. They would like to do that again today. And today, it is senior day, and it's Matt Days. It's about Matt Days trying to control the line of scrimmage in the run game to give Finley an opportunity to throw it off play action.
Matt Days, 27 carries, 108 yards, and 3 rushing TDs last week. This pass on 3rd down, incomplete. Looking for Nyheim Hines.
Again, a nice job by Elder, the corner to that side of the field. He baits Finley into the throw. Finley doesn't see the coverage. Watch Elder look like he's going to retreat. Now squat down on the route. Does an excellent job of staying right there in that outside leverage position on Hines. And the senior comes in and knocks the ball away. Nice play by Elder at the corner spot.
Cole to punt for NC State. Berrios is standing at his 10-yard line, ready to receive this punt. Will be nowhere near it. Bounces at the 3, kept alive by the pack. And it is a touchback right at the goal line. Travius Wright was standing down at the goal line after the 39-yard punt. Couldn't keep it out of the end zone. Great time here in the final home game of the season for NC State. No score in the first quarter.
Only 33 yards rushing for Lamar Jackson. He was sacked 11 times. I would not want to be in that offensive line meeting in Louisville on Monday.
Jackson does have 47 touchdowns this season to tie an ACC record as far as passing and running. This is Walton. No place to go. He got hit early, Dave.
Well, it's a broken line play. Whenever you're going to broken line, meaning you're going to pull offensive linemen. See, the backside line guard pulls. Well, you've got to get the block back. The block back has to happen. And a poor job by Gaither blocking back to get Bradley Chubb and the rest of those defenders pinned. Tom, you mentioned this is the number 4 team in the country against the run, and they're showing it early.
Loss of 1 on the previous play. Kaya wants to throw it, and he's got his man right down the seam, and it's caught by Richards.
Yeah, nothing loosens up a rush or a team that's defending the run more than a couple quick throws from your quarterback. This is an excellent throw on the slant route. The freshman Richards comes over the middle. Well-thrown ball by Kaya. Try to take care of business with the passing game to loosen up NC State on defense.
744 yards receiving this year for the freshman Richards. And that is the best in the country among freshmen. Kaya again to the boundary near the 40. Richards slips away. Comes up short of midfield, but that's another first down. Back-to-back plays and throws from Kaya.
Now, Brad Kaya, this is his 36th consecutive start as a Miami Hurricane quarterback, and I think that the numbers may be a little disappointing to some because this is his 3rd year as a starter, still having an outstanding year. They're hoping it may be a little bit more with Mark Richt calling the plays for him, but he's had a nice year as the Miami quarterback.
Njoku spinning near the 45 of NC State, and they'll get 6. Dave, you're talking about Brad Kaya. Over 9,000 yards passing in his career. Ken Dorsey has the record, but Kaya quickly approaching.
Yeah, and I think that the ceiling for Kaya is off the charts. A big kid's got a big arm, can make all the throws. I think that there was a maybe an unrealistic expectation with Mark Richt coming in, taking over as the play caller and quarterback coach with Kaya. But he's had a nice year. Obviously, the big question is, does Kaya come out, or does he stay at Miami for his senior season? I bet there's a lot of Hurricane fans that hope he stays for one more year.
This is Kaya again. Now, the pass was complete, but there were whistles.
False start. Offense. Number 52. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Brad Kaya is a guy that a lot of expectation attached to him. What are your thoughts on Brad Kaya?
There sure were. And Mark Richt, when we talked to him earlier this week, was really honest. He said, look, once you get into these games, you still have to continue to learn your quarterback week in and week out. So every single game is a learning, there's a learning curve to it. So they're still learning each other. Kaya's getting used to the way that Mark Richt calls plays, and Mark Richt's getting used to what Brad Kaya likes to run as well.
And you're trying to flush out the old system and learn a new system. There's a learning curve attached to that as well. So that might be some of what's gone on with Brad Kaya this year. But still, a really good year. We're talking about a guy that had 19 touchdowns and only 7 interceptions. They've lost a couple of games. I know that Miami fans wanted them to win or felt like they should have won. Obviously, the Florida State game comes to mind. NC State can say the same thing, Tom. It was some of the tough losses they've had this year.
Yeah, you mentioned that Florida State game, Dave. That was at home on October 8th, and they lost because of a blocked extra point, 20-19. Also lost at Notre Dame later that month by 3, 30-27 for the Miami Hurricanes, who are bowl eligible. Walton has a crease. He should have first down yardage near the 41-yard line. He got 8, and B.J. Hill combined with Josh Jones for the stop.
Doing a nice job now coming off the ball. This is an offensive line that's had to kind of patchwork together. They've had some injuries up front, trying to plug guys in that are going to get that blocking scheme down. And Walton and Yearby and Edwards can all run it. They just need a crease, and that time going straight ahead as opposed to side, they're finding some running room against NC State.
First down for Miami. Herndon got away from one man, but lunging forward for 3 for Chris Herndon. Arias Moore making the tackle for NC State.
Game today, but they play Virginia next week in their rivalry game to try to get themselves into the championship game.
Kaya's pass near the 30, caught. This is Richards. He's out of bounds near the 20-yard line. 18 yards. Kaya to the freshman Richards.
Well, you see the receiving skills for Richards now. Going to sell the fade. Now shut it down. Get the ball to him quickly. Kaya with an excellent throw. And then a nice run after the catch by Richards. You see why they're so excited about the youngster from Wellington, Florida.
3 catches, 47 yards. Amon Richards. Kaya with the time. Flushed from the pocket. And he'll scamper out of bounds. Just short of the 15-yard line. Tocho was bearing down. 4 yards on the scamper from Kaya.
Well, not his bag, Tom. This is not Kaya's not the classic zone read, run it, throw it guy. He's a pocket passer. Mark Richters told us as such. But when Kaya does escape, you'd like to give him an opportunity to escape forward through the pocket. Nice pocket that time by Miami to allow their quarterback to skate forward for a nice first down run.
This will be the 10th play of this Miami drive. They go to the ground with Walton, and he gets taken down rudely. Sean Boone, number 24, in red and white.
But a little bit more of the blend that Miami wants. You're seeing a mix of run and pass. Kaya's been after it with a couple of throws. Now you get Walton hit by Boone coming over from the safety spot. And so you're in that manageable third down situation.
Miami averages 159 yards rushing per game, 7th in the conference. This time they want to throw. Incomplete at the 5. Harris trying to extend for the grab, but couldn't get there.
Yeah, and this is a throw Brad Kaya's got to make. It's a slant route versus man coverage. Harris wins to the inside, and Kaya's errant with the throw. Had a little bit of pressure in his face, but those are the kind of throws that I guess Miami fans kind of are hanging on that they haven't seen out of their junior quarterback.
So Mark Richt sends Michael Badgley onto the field for a 31-yard attempt. 14 of 18 on the season. He's made 10 of his last 11. Badgley's kick is good. And the Canes are on the board first. So Miami late in the first takes a 3-0 lead. And we'll be back after a word from your local ACC station.
Going to run the slant to your left as you take a look. Watch Harris stumble coming out of the break. Stumbles coming out of the break, so probably not fair to say that maybe Kaya missed that throw. That was a pretty good throw by Kaya to the inside, and his receiver stumbled and fell coming out of the break. Just wanted to clarify that right there.
That was the only incompletion of the drive. Kaya was 6 of 7 for 59 yards, and they got 3 points out of it for the Canes. Hines waits on the kickoff. Sails over his head, and there will be no return.
So pretty good drive by Miami to kind of break the logjam that the defenses had created now on NC State. Because NC State had a short field opportunity, Tom, after the big return by Cherry. In fact, they were on Miami's side of the field, and Miami came in for a 3-and-out. In fact, 2 3-and-outs in a row by this young Miami defense.
Finley is the transfer from Boise State, a sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona. First and 10 from the 25. Just over 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Finley. Samuels had the grab for 4 yards.
And Quarterman there, the linebacker there to make the play.
Our first and 10 line brought to you by the North Carolina Education Lottery. Celebrating 10 years and over $4.5 billion raised for education.
I keep calling this a young Miami defense. There's only 2 senior starters on this defense.
Finley approaching 2,500 yards passing this season. He'll hand it off. It is Matt Days takes the punishment at the 35-yard line and got 6 yards. Dave, what a great conversation we had with Matt Days yesterday. A senior, very humble guy, quiet confidence, but I really enjoyed speaking to that young man.
Yeah, he's a kid. I think he's the most unsung player in the ACC. Everybody talks about all these different players around the conference. There's some really good ones. But Matt Days deserves to be in the conversation. When you look at what he's done over his career, and certainly this season for NC State, 7 of the 10 times he's lined up this year, he's gone for over 100 yards. In fact, if you want to go back to last year in an injury-shortened season, 12 of his last 18 games have been over 100 yards as Days will line up here in the Wildcat.
It is third and very short. Days needed to get beyond the 35 to ensure a first down. I don't know if he got there, Dave.
Pickney, the freshman linebacker. Roddy talked about these freshman linebackers. Pickney takes a no backseat to swagger as well. This is a kid that can really run. Number 56 going to shoot through and make the tackle from depth and leaves it short. And now NC State saying, hey, we can't go 3 and out 3 in a row. They're going to keep their offense on the field. There's Manny Diaz, defensive coordinator.
NC State will go on 4th down. 8 of 20 in this situation. That should be good enough for it. 2 yards. Ryan Finley. Manny Diaz, first year as the defensive coordinator under Mark Richt, coming from Mississippi State, where he actually faced NC State in the Belk Bowl, Dave, last year.
Yeah, Manny Diaz, a fun guy to talk to. And Roddy, this is a guy that has a lot of confidence himself, and it kind of rubs off on his players.
A tremendous amount of confidence. He talked to us about being aggressive, and it doesn't matter if he has freshman guys. He has full confidence in those 3 freshman linebackers and lets them run everything back there.
Days. Second effort for a yard for Matt Days.
And Quarterman again in on the tackle. He's free to, and we talk about Manny Diaz and what he's done with these defensive guys is he simplified things defensively. They're playing man coverage in the secondary, and he's letting these young linebackers run and hit. And so far in this game, boy, this has been exactly what we anticipated from having a chance to talk with the Miami coaches.
Miami is 6th in the conference in total defense under Diaz in his first season with Mark Richt. Finley's pass floats up near the first down marker. Braylon Cherry went up to get it. He might be just a little bit short on that grab as we go inside of 2 minutes of the first period.
Well, it's an excellent quick read by Finley. He sees man coverage right now, saw the flat taken away, so he shot the ball in behind, and Cherry goes up high, takes a big shot on the back end, was able to squeeze the football. You have to make some of those kind of plays. When you're a little bit stagnant offensively, you need some receivers to step up and make some of those tough catches. Cherry did that right there.
They got 9 and a first down. Rashawn Jenkins delivered the big hit, but it's a first down for the Wolfpack. Days. Line of scrimmage, and that's it for Matt Days. R.J. McIntosh, number 80, in white, orange, and green on the stop.
Both these teams, their running backs, will kind of probe, and then they'll crease you for a run. So it's an all-day chore for both NC State and Miami defensively to defend the quality running backs both these teams have.
7 carries for Days, only 10 yards so far. It's a 5-receiver set from the pack. Finley through the progression. No one available. Sails it to the Miami bench.
Yeah, really good job by Miami down the field. They plaster the coverage on everybody. You mentioned, Tom, that they spread it out with a no-back set. And Miami did a really good job of taking away all the throws. Let's take a look at this coverage by Miami down the field. And really a nice job of sorting out that three-receiver set there. Nobody open. Finley has to pull it down and throw it away.
Wolfpack have gotten a fourth down conversion on this drive, but for the game, 0 for 3 on third down. This is 3rd and 10. See the clock, just 40 seconds to go in the first quarter, and a 3-0 Miami lead. Finley, quick trigger, and that's incomplete. Trying to find Steph Lewis.
And a good job by bluffing up front by Miami. They showed blitz to Finley's left, and those two athletic linebackers ran all the way to the other side of the formation. It came off the other side. They kind of sped up the thought process of Finley. He was errant with the throw.
Berrios waits on the punt from Cole. Berrios has a punt return for a touchdown this season. Game against Florida A&M. He has to go up to the 23 and makes a sliding grab. 32 yards on the punt as we go down to Roddy.
So, Tom, in mid-July, one of the favorite things of these Miami players happened when Mark Richt climbed to the top of a 10-meter high dive at a Miami on-campus pool, and he did a perfect backflip. I don't know how much effort it took to kind of fall backwards into the pool, but the guy's got a kick out of it. Mark Richt talked about his Paradise Camp, where juniors and seniors worked out with Hurricanes coaches and players and former Miami stars in what was really a great bonding experience for this team. As, for example, that was a dinner, a little picnic that they had unofficial visited recruits, and just a lot of people there having a lot of fun at the high dive.
A good throw by Kaya on first down to pick up a large chunk of change. But Mark Richt does a really good job of creating a family atmosphere. He did at Georgia. He's doing it again now at his alma mater. He can't be. He's more, I don't think I've seen him as excited. I live in Atlanta. I've been around Mark a long time when he was at Georgia. I don't know that I've seen him this excited about what he's doing.
15 years the head coach of the Bulldogs. This pass is incomplete near the 45-yard line. Stacy Coley got mixed up with Jack Tocho, and Tocho got the best of that confrontation. So that is the last play of the first quarter. Brad Kaya and Miami on senior day for NC State as a 3-0 lead. This is ACC football presented by Mellow Mushroom. Tums.
Yeah, and I would think there'd be a roll of Tums in Dave Dorn's pocket right now with the acid that his offense is producing in his stomach. Only 30 yards of offense, 0 for 4 on third down. So he needs to get something figured out on the offensive side. You could bet that Coach Drinkowitz, the offensive coordinator, is working that through with his offense on the sideline.
And Dave, you know, in our discussion with Coach Doran, he really wants this victory for his senior group, wants Matt Days to get over 1,000 yards, but so far not a lot of traction for either offense, really, as far as the rushing game is concerned, as Edwards gets the carry for Miami and a first down.
Gus Edwards is a kid that, boy, when you see this kid get off the bus, he just looks the part. He's 6'1", 230 pounds. He's really been plagued by injury, which has kind of made him inconsistent. But coming off an excellent performance against Virginia a week ago, 11 carries for 68 yards. He's averaging over 6 yards a carry this season. I'd like to see the big back get going for Miami.
Dave, Miami as a team, 222 yards rushing last week in the win against Virginia, 34-14 to get the bowl eligibility. Roadblock set up by B.J. Hill and the NC State defense. Let's check in with Roddy.
Tom, in between this quarter break, Jalen Samuels was taken into the visitors' locker room, the home locker room. Indications are that they're taking him in to look at his shoulders, but the feeling on the NC State sideline is that he'll be just fine. It's just for precautionary reasons and possibly to do a little tape job.
Yeah, Samuel's tough kid. We saw him leave the game last week with an ankle, was back in, scored a touchdown. I expect Jalen Samuels to be on the field.
Kaya's pass is incomplete.
Well, both these defenses, Tom, are really making it a frantic situation for the quarterback. Neither one of them have settled in, have been able to kind of get any kind of rhythm going. Kaya got a little bit on their last drive where they got the field goal, but the two defensive fronts have really made it kind of uncomfortable for the quarterback so far.
Kaya is a guy who completes over 61% of his passes for the year. 2 for 4 on third down for Miami against this NC State D. Canes on 3rd and 9. The pressure came. Kaya got it away. It's a first down beyond the 45-yard line, and it's Richards on the grab for Miami.
Boy, nice job by Kaya to stand in and take the shot. He knows there's more coming than they can block, but he knows he's going to have a throw against man coverage. Takes the shot in the side to let it go. Excellent throw, on time and on the money to his freshman receiver Richards for the first down.
4th catch of the game for Richards. He got 12 on that play, and the sticks move for the Canes. Kaya back to work into NC State territory, and the grab made by Malcolm Lewis, number 9. He's a senior. Making a catch, he got 9 yards.
Well, you wonder about throws now. That was ripped right there by Kaya. Tight coverage to the wide side of the field. Watch him gun this one on the money. That's a big-time throw right there by Kaya.
Movement along the line on 2nd and 1.
Ball start, offense, number 52. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It's got to be uncomfortable for Miami. Casey McDermott right there. Casey McDermott right there, 52. Normally a guard has had to slide out to tackle. They've had to mix and match on the offensive line. Their normal center, Nick Linder, out. Gall in at center. Sonny Ndagwu is off, is injured, been injured for part of the season. Just really been banged up front.
Kaya's pass over the middle is incomplete. Harris, the intended receiver. Tocho defending for NC State. There is no flag on the play.
Trying to throw those slants, Tom. A lot of quick passing, but both defensive lines are creating some timing issues, trying to get those slant routes in there to the receivers. You could bet that there's some double move stuff coming if they can get it blocked. But right now they have to get the ball out quickly because NC State's getting into the backfield too quickly. Look for maybe some tunnel screens eventually, something like that to get Stacey Coley the football.
3rd and 6 from midfield for Miami. Kaya's pass behind the intended receiver. And that was Harris who turned around for it. The ball did not have enough on it. And 4th down for the Canes.
Well, it's a design back shoulder throw is what he's trying to do here, Tom. But just didn't get it timed up with Harris. He's trying to underthrow him on purpose. Pretty good coverage by Tocho on the fade route. And they just didn't connect.
Vogel will punt for Miami. Braylon Cherry, his last return was 31 yards. This will be much less. Takes a Miami bounce toward the sideline and rolls dead near the 12-yard line. That's a 39-yard punt from Vogel. 12:15 to go in the second quarter. Ryan Finley leads that NC State offense back on the field and trailing 3-0 to the Canes. 0-0 Carter Finley Stadium, celebrating 50 years of this stadium.
Well, NC State's offense has had a tough go of it. 8 of their 15 plays for 0 or negative yards. Tells you how good this Miami defense has been.
Finley hands it off. Gillespie near the 10-yard line. Short yardage. We go back to Charlotte and our studios.
Cool, Tom, that Matt Johns, a senior, been one of the great leaders on that team through the transition with Bronco Mendenhall, get the opportunity and playing well today.
Now, we called their only ACC win of the season. That was at Duke. 1-5. That one went through a couple of pairs of hands, but finally incomplete.
Yeah, this is one he really tries to shove into coverage. Excellent job by Miami, really to have a number of defenders in place. And then a big hit on the back end for Hines. But Quarterman forcing the quarterback. This has been a textbook Miami defensive performance so far by Manny Diaz's crew. I would look for screens, something quick, get it out of his hands. They've been unable to block up front. So Finley trying to have just some success. Miami's showing some pressure.
They're also 0 for 4 on third down. And right away, hit at the 10 was Kelvin Harmon. Miami thinks it has the football as Jamal Carter delivered the hit.
I know the Miami fans would like to see Miami get back to where they were defensively in the early 2000s. And so far, this looks like that group. Carter going to come up and just drop the hammer on the screen pass. And Elder scoops and scores, but no fumble here. Boy, it looked like that was close to being out.
So Cole is 5 yards deep in his end zone. Gets it away cleanly. Berrios the fair catch, and he makes it with a teammate going on by at the 45-yard line. Here on campus, Yao, Jimmy V honored a couple of statues for the legendary coaches here at NC State, a national title for that guy. Coast Guard and Marines stationed around the globe in 175 countries and on the high seas. So proud to have you with us and hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Miami has the football from its own 45-yard line. Best start as far as field position is concerned for the Canes, and this is Njoku getting away and first down yardage near the 40. 15 yards for number 86, the junior.
Yeah, nice job, strong hand. Njoku's going to come from your right side, hook up, just squeeze the football in traffic, and now here's where he's dangerous. People don't realize it. 6'4", 245 pounds. Kid can run now. Have to keep an eye on him if you're NC State.
Brad Kaya threw a couple of TD passes last week against Virginia. He's going deep here and through the hands of his receiver. Inside the 5, Njoku running down the boundary with Josh Jones.
That's a good matchup. Josh Jones, a big safety at 6'2", 215 pounds. But if you're Kaya, you want to keep this ball in bounds and give your big timer an opportunity. Ball thrown so far outside, tough adjustment for Njoku to find it. That's one of those ones where you're going to kind of drop it right on top of you and let the big tight end make a play.
Njoku was one of those players who caught a TD pass from Kaya last week in the 34-14 victory. And was at home against Virginia. Walton, short of the 40. Contavious Street on the stop, a loss of 1, and down to Roddy.
You and Archer talked about the matchup nightmare that David Njoku is. Well, he won the high jump national championship in 2014 with a 6'11" high jump. So not only is this guy 6'4", not only is he 240 pounds, but he can also jump out of the gym. I mean, he's got NFL written all over him, and I would not want to have to be the guy that draws that assignment.
Yeah, this guy's a beast. I shook his hand, Tom, and his fingers came up to my elbow.
3rd and 6 for the Canes from the 41 of NC State. 3 of 6 rather on 3rd down. Here's the 3rd down play. It's going to be a sack. There is a flag that came out.
Flag on the play.
The pile right at midfield.
Offense, number 52. That penalty decline. 4th down.
Let's take a look at this pressure on Kaya, and really just glad to see Kaya get up out of this. Just a 5-man pass rush, but just no job, horrible job of taking the starch out of Street 35's pressure coming off Kaya's right side. Kaya had no chance. It was really, like I said, glad to see him get up because there was a hit down around that thigh area and got it bent over pretty good. Good stop by NC State, Tom. Short field situation there. Both these defenses have done a nice job on these short field opportunities.
Yeah, that was a loss of 8 on that play on 3rd and long. Vogel punts. Cherry, fair catch, and he has it at the 15. Over 4 seconds of hang time and 35 yards on that punt from Vogel. Pack will have the ball when we come back after a word from your local ACC station. Good high-five technique, Dave.
Good teammate. Good teammate.
It's been a great season here on the ACC Network, including the Coyote Quarterback Challenge. Ryan Finley trying to challenge this Miami D, and he swings it out to Cherry near the 20. They're going to get 5 on that play.
Yeah, trying to get something going here, jar something loose offensively, get the ball outside of your playmaker, Cherry, on that little quick screen to the outside. But prior to that pass, Finley just 4 of 9 for 17 yards, and Matt Day 7 carries for 10 yards. NC State has been bottled up by this Miami defense.
It is 2nd and 5 from the 20 for NC State. Days spun off the tackle. He's got a first down, and Days up near the 30. 9 yards on the carry. Carter and McLeod have to combine on the stop of Days.
Now it's about wrapping up defensively because this is really well defended by Miami. Days going to try to cut back, but there's Miami defenders right there. They just could not wrap him up. And then you see the ability of Days to stay alive. Big play for this NC State offense, struggling to find something positive.
Days approaching 2,700 career rushing yards, 5th best in school history, trying to get 1,000. Finley steps up. His pass incomplete. Near the 35-yard line, Steph Lewis, the target. Corn Elder on the defending for Miami.
Elder's seen a lot of football. Does an excellent job of staying in the hip pocket of Lewis and then reaches across with the left hand. Did not disrupt the receiver. Excellent job with that offhand. That's the one the official's looking at. What's he doing with that offhand, which in this case was the right hand? Elder did a good job of not disrupting Lewis down the field. Well done. It's excellent cornerback play. Get back to getting the ball your playmakers. We've not seen Samuels touch the ball. In fact, he's not even on the field here.
Only 1 touch for Samuels, and that pass is off the mark to Braylon Cherry at incomplete.
Coming off of a loss, better be ready to go for the Demon Deacons.
Clemson losing to Pittsburgh last week. Finley's pass floating and almost caught by Nyheim Hines. It would have been a circus grab at the 40.
Well, excellent protection up front this time. Allows Finley to settle in and make a strong throw down the field. And Corneldo makes a mistake here. He jumps the throw, and he thought he was going to be able to get there, and it actually goes over the top of him. But I think he did enough of blurring the vision of Nyheim Hines where Hines couldn't squeeze the football. But a bit of a gamble there by Elder, and he got away with it.
NC State now 0 for 6 on 3rd down. Fake punt now. Close to the first down marker near the 40. 11 yards. And it was number 33, Brady Bodine, on the fake punt.
Yeah, Brady Bodine not on anybody's depth chart, but he's certainly on Dave Dorn's radar as they call the fake punt, trying to jar something loose. Excellent tackle by Johnson, the safety, but just not quite. Ooh, and that's going to be close. You wonder if they might take a look at the spot on this. Johnson, the safety, number 4, was in that punt return unit and made the tackle on Bodine. Very close to whether the knee was down before he got to the 40-yard line.
They're going to review it, David. The longest play of the day for NC State.
Let's take a look at that knee. Right knee down. Now, I don't think he's there, Tom. Can you see from that angle, though? That's the problem, and here's maybe a better look at it.
Well, Dave, you know what you need in this instance. Indisputable video evidence.
And you're not going to get it from the all-22. That's the all-22 look. It would have been that shot we had prior to, and it's at an angle to where I'm not sure the officials are going to be able to tell if he got to the line or not.
And again, the ruling on the field, a first down from the initial mark.
If I had to guess, Tom, I don't think he got there. It's a heck of a call by Coach Dorn to fake it. Trying to reach the 40-yard line. Actually needed to reach the 39 to get the first down. They've got the ball marked on the 40-yard line. He didn't get to the 40.
Calls on Brady Bodine, a sophomore from Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
I just don't think there's anything definitive there that's going to sway the officials because of the angle that we had. The all-22 a little bit too obscure, too far away to tell where he is as the knee comes down.
Right now it's an 11-yard play, and on the field, rule of first down. Referee is Jeff Heiser. The He's on the headset. Replay official Dennis Redding, and there is a collaboration with the command center in Greensboro, North Carolina as well.
Here's the look, Tom. That's probably the best look at it, but it's at a weird angle. Knee down now. Is he over? And you can't tell whether he's broken the plane. I can assure you, the ball spotted at the 40. He didn't get to the 40.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
Yeah, and that's just simply because they couldn't tell from the angle. But I think where the ball spotted, he didn't get to. He could have gotten to the 39. Didn't reach the 40. But regardless, not a good angle enough to overturn it. So NC State gambles, and it pays off.
Coach Doran dialing up the fake punt. And they get the first down. Brady Bodine on the run of 11 yards. Ball at the 40 for NC State. Shovel forward in traffic. Thaddeus Moss. Short run of 3 yards. The college football playoff rankings.
Virginia Tech and North Carolina both lost last week, knocked out of the top 25.
Louisville probably going to vacate that number 5 spot. That pass incomplete. Jenkins defending. Samuels was the target there.
It's a nice play by Jenkins because the ball pretty well thrown, maybe on the back shoulder of Samuels. This is the kid that leads NC State in receiving. And a nice play by Jenkins to get right in the hip pocket of Samuels and knock it away.
So now 3rd and 7.
Here comes Miami. Man coverage across the board. You see everybody up, bump, and run. They're looking to the sideline. Does Manny Diaz want to change what they're doing? They're staying in that man coverage look.
Finley lets it fly. Too far for the intended receiver, Jalen Samuels. And Finley hit the turf after the throw.
Yeah, he's digging himself off the ground again. Trent Harris, the defensive end, is the guy that got in on Finley. We said man coverage, here comes the pressure. Bringing more than 4. Harris, 33, is the guy that makes the hit. And that speeds up the quarterback. In fact, it makes it where you can't follow through to pull the ball down onto your receiver, and the ball sailed high and wide.
This time it will be an authentic punt. Berrios bounces off a hit at the 15 and then cut down at the 19. 43 yards on the punt. The return by Berrios of 5 yards. The bell tower on campus here at NC State in Raleigh as you watch ACC football presented by Mellow Mushroom. 3-0. The 15th all-time meeting between the Canes and the Pack is just the 4th time they have met in their history here in Raleigh. Series goes back to 1939. Worst starting field position of the game for Miami. Kaya dragged to the turf. Darian Roseboro with the pressure and the sack, and the second one of the game for the Pack.
What NC State's doing is they're jumping into a bear look, meaning they're covering all 5 of Miami's offensive line, and they're not holding up one-on-one. Roseboro comes in and gets the sack, but they've got a number of players penetrating into the backfield. Rodney, this defense getting after Miami.
They really are. And when we talked to Dave Huxtable yesterday, we asked him what's made his defense so good this year. He said it starts with the front 4 and those 2 excellent linebackers being good at the 3 R's. And I'm not talking reading, writing, and arithmetic. I'm talking reading, recognizing, and reacting to the plays. He said 66% of defensive success happens before the play in recognizing the formation and communicating, and his front 7 has been excellent at that so far this year.
Arithmetic, I like that. I like that, Roddy. And to follow up, the linebackers have been a big part of this look that they're showing Miami when they're jumping into the bear look. And we'll at some point find you a little look at it. But what they're doing is they're jumping Fernandez up over the guard, and they're actually covering all 5 of Miami's offensive line. And then they're bringing an extra rusher to the inside.
Well, the reason we had a slight delay, Tyrese St. Louis shaken up a little bit, able to walk off of the field under his own strength. Sophomore from Bradenton, Florida.
Yeah, he started the last 5 games at right tackle. And we talked about the injuries that Miami's had is up front. They can ill afford to lose one of their offensive line. Looked like that St. Louis is able to get off the field on his own power.
Don't forget our game next week, Dave, the 106th meeting. Correction now, our game next week is Syracuse and Pittsburgh. We'll get to that in just a moment. Joe Yearby into the pile. Couple of yards for Yearby.
Usually when you're backed up, Tom, especially if you're struggling offensively, it's a screen or a draw. Now you got to draw, and now you're 3rd and 19. The same equation kind of fits. Now most defenses won't come with pressure here. They'll play coverage, so you can throw the ball underneath to get to somebody. And Coach Mark Richt, of course, calling his own plays at Miami.
3 of 7 on 3rd down. This 3rd and 19. They run it with Yearby. Breaks away, and Yearby beyond the 20 to the 22. Needed to get to the 29. So he's well short of the marker as Jones and Boone made the tackle, but Yearby got 13.
Yeah, pretty consistent with that type of situation. 3rd and 19, don't really design stuff for that scenario. So you hope that somebody can get clean and run for a first down. Tried to spring Yearby on the draw play, didn't do it. And now NC State again with an opportunity to have a short field.
So Cherry waiting for the punt. The catch indicated and made.
Wow, what a punt.
The 19 gave almost 5 seconds of hang time. Let's go to the studio and show.
And whose, guys?
Georgia Tech with its win last week against Virginia Tech. Bowl eligible 6-4, but trailing Virginia 10-7. Here it's 3-0 Miami. 4:45 to go in the second quarter. NC State takes over from its own 19. That last punt, Dave, 58 yards by Vogel to put the ball in this situation. Finley. His pass is complete to Kelvin Harmon, but he caught it kneeling on the field. So 5 yards on that play. Here's our Haviland defensive shield.
Well, this is a Miami defense that camps out in your backfield. 9 tackles for loss per game. They came in with 90 on the season, and they've added several more already. But when you look at their tackles per loss, unbelievable how much they camp out in that opposition's backfield.
From 66 tackles for loss last year for the Kings. 2nd and 4. Finley the quick toss, and it's incomplete. Steph Lewis couldn't hang on.
Yeah, this is Pickney, the young linebacker, overruns that slant route. That was the area he was supposed to be in, and Lewis had an opportunity for a big play here. See, Finley 56 is going to buzz out, but he overbuzzes. He's supposed to be right there in that area where that slant route is. In fact, he slapped himself on the side of the helmet as he came off the field. But Lewis had an opportunity for a big play right there for NC State.
0 for 7 on 3rd down for the Wolfpack. Steph Lewis is also a Florida native from West Palm Beach, Florida. Couldn't make the play on 2nd down. Here's 3rd down. Finley the pass, open man. That's Harmon down the sideline near the 40. Kelvin Harmon.
They get a blown coverage from Mark Richt's team this time. They've done a great job. Right at the top, you see jumps the underneath route, no one in behind. Like they're playing man coverage and just got mixed up on who was supposed to run with the wheel route. And a good read by Finley to get the ball out.
39 yards on that play. Wants to toss it again. He's got some room to run. Gets inside the 30 and dives out of bounds near the 26. He got 9. Rayshawn Jenkins forcing Finley to get out of bounds.
It was almost as though, Tom, that the crowd talked Finley into running with the ball. Because as he got out wide, the crowd realized he had a lot of room. So you heard that loud cheer, and Finley decided to take off and picked up 9 yards on the play.
Second and short, NC State. Clock continues to roll as we approach the 3-minute threshold of the second quarter. Gaze trying to find some daylight. He gets driven back at the 22, but it's good enough for a first down and 6 yards from Matt Gaze.
Yeah,
rugged.
Gaze just puts his head down and he picks a crease. You better bring your headgear and your shoulder pads with you to tackle him, because he's going to run through the arm tackle. Nice job by Gaze to pick up the first down right there.
9 carries and 25 yards for Matt Gaze. First and 10, just beyond the 21 of Miami. Finley, his pass sails above the head of Steph Lewis, looking that way the whole time. Zach McLeod was out there defensively.
Oh, I can assure you the freshman linebacker Zach McLeod's eyes got as big around as you could possibly be. He said, wait a minute, this guy's going to throw me the ball. But he threw the ball way over his head. So good read by Finley. Excellent job by Miami to take away all the throws. And Finley preserves the field position here. Now, you've got to figure that Days and Samuels has been a guy that has not touched the football. We have not seen the jet sweep from Samuels yet. He's in the slot at the bottom of the screen right here.
Just one catch for Samuels. He's got the football. Jumps over the 20-yard line, maybe down to the 17 or 18 for Samuels. Just 3 yards. Young made the tackle.
You just figure that Samuels is too good a player not to touch the ball. And Coach Grinkowitz, the offensive coordinator for NC State, thinking the same way. I've got to get my playmakers the ball.
So inside of 2 minutes, and now 3rd and 7. Pack has had its troubles on 3rd down in this game. Finley gets around one man, throws on the run to the end zone, and it is
intercepted.
The officials are talking about it.
Wow, discussion on the play. Redwine, the corner.
Incomplete, Dave. Incomplete. Yes, it was Redwine back there with Steph Lewis. The officials got together, and they say incomplete.
Well, Finley has the receiver open. It's Lewis in the back, and Lewis just lets the ball hit him in the chest and go to the ground. Not a great throw, but it's one Lewis will probably be the first guy to tell you should have caught it. And then Redwine comes out there trying to sell that he can come up with the ball. But Finley broke the pocket against zone coverage and found Lewis. Not the best throw in the world from Finley, but Lewis certainly should have held it.
Connor Haskins from 35 yards away. It's a low liner, and it's good. The graduate transfer, Connor Haskins, comes in, and this football game is all tied up at 3. And we'll be back after this word from the Atlantic Coast Conference.
He's a guy that can get it done late. Nice kick there, and really that's a team that doesn't lose at home. And Clemson, excellent win for Pat Narduzzi's team.
Ram Power Play brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. That'll be our destination next week. Here on the ACC football game of the week, we're going to Pittsburgh. From a yard deep, Malcolm Lewis. Lewis spinning to the 20-yard line. And let's go back to Charlotte and Katie with him, see what we got coming to you, checking on the status of Dravius Wright.
Well, Tom, you don't ever just want to see anybody get hurt, but Dravius Wright, big part of what's going on defensively for NC State. He's kind of that nickel linebacker that they play with.
So Niles Clark will come in for Dravius Wright, who has forced 4 fumbles this season for the NC State defense.
Always nice when you can replace a senior with a senior. Niles Clark playing his last game here at Carter Finley as well. Been an excellent player for several years here for the Wolfpack.
1st and 10 for Brad Kaya. Drifting way back, and he just sends it to that Wolfpack bench with 1:25 to go in the first half.
Now, we talked about one of the top players in the conference in Bradley Chubb, and that he can do it all. Now, you realize his screen. Look at him immediately retrace his steps, get in the screen, take Walton away on the throw. This guy can do it all. He's bulked up body-wise. He is a tough guy to handle on the edge. Came in with 17 tackles for loss and 8 sacks so far this year.
He's got another sack in this game, 9 to lead the team. This pass complete. Njoku gets away from some defenders and goes beyond the 40. Josh Jones finally made the tackle 23 yards later.
It's hard to tell how big a guy this guy is until you see him in person. 6'4", 245, but he runs like a tailback. Look at him. Stiff arming, switching the ball upfield. Nice play by David Njoku, the big tight end.
11 of 19 for Kaya, 126 yards. And this one near the 40 is Amon Richards. And that'll add to the total as the clock rolls and the chains move. 16 yards on the play for the Canes.
Tom, think about the last 2 guys that made plays for Miami. Freshman and sophomore, the 2 guys that made those last 2 plays.
From the 41, Kaya again to the air, down to the 32-yard line. It's Richards again, spun down by Mike Stevens.
Okay, now what's starting to happen here is they're throwing the slant. Be ready for the double move. Slant and go by Richards on the outside. That's something that Mark Richt is setting up for maybe in the second half for a big play opportunity for Richards.
Another first down for Miami from the 31 of NC State. Kaya wants to toss it again, and this time that one heads toward the NC State band.
Well, he tried to throw. He was going to throw the hitch route to the outside to Harris. Good job on the outside by Stevens, who squatted down on the route. Was right there in his hip pocket. So good decision by Kaya to throw the ball away. Good one for Walton.
It is Walton inside the 25-yard line. 7 yards. Mark Walton, the sophomore from Miami, Florida.
And what that does is it gets you down to where you're 3rd and 3 now in a good situation here from a conversion.
So there is a timeout on the field. Folks, tickets for the 2016 Dr. Pepper ACC Football Championship game on sale now. Game headed to Orlando on December 3rd. Tickets available on Ticketmaster. Carrabba's Italian Grill has partnered with the ACC to offer a special 4-pack, including 4 tickets, 4 ACC hats, and a $20 Carrabba's gift card, all for $220. Call to order while supplies last.
Nice package there.
Orlando, Florida, the destination. Last year it was Clemson and North Carolina playing an exciting game in Charlotte, North Carolina. This year, still to be determined.
Absolutely. North Carolina could still be the same matchup. And we look at the bowl-eligible teams. 8 of those, or 9 teams. We've got a couple more teams. Potential 13 teams in the ACC to be bowl-eligible.
NC State can do it today with a victory. Syracuse and Boston College have to win their last 2 games of the season. Duke could do the same. They're 4-6 on the year.
Duke could Pitt today, and they'll travel to Miami next week.
About Duke beat Notre Dame this year, Dave. Also beat North Carolina on a Thursday night. Been some exciting action in the ACC. Here's Kaya, puts the touch on it. Now there's a whistle.
Oh, no.
Before the end of the play.
Great call, but a timeout by Dave Dorn.
Wow.
Timeout.
And that was Walton.
North Carolina State. 30-second timeout.
Boy, they had saved a perfect play. Mark Richt is going to, boy, he's got to be upset at the fact that timeout by Dave Dorn. They were not lined up properly or whatever, and you see Coach Richt upset. He had a perfect play on it, a wheel route to Mark Walton. Walton's going to slip out of the backfield right here and run the wheel down the sideline versus man coverage. Get the natural pick. And Walton, if he doesn't score, is going to be inside. He's going to be down at the 5-yard line on that play. Just a very fortunate, Dave Dorn, very fortunate calling timeout on that play.
Yeah, very fortunate. And when we talked to Mark Richt about calling the plays, he said that he feels rejuvenated. He's got the juice back. He used all the adjectives to talk about how much more he has enjoyed this year calling the plays. And it's stuff like that that I'm sure gets his juices flowing in terms of, yeah, I had the perfect play call, but also it was well-timed on the other side calling the timeout.
The Njoku right here, tough matchup here on 3rd down.
3rd and 3. First down at the 16. Richards. It takes a few red shirts to finally get him out of bounds, and the clock stops. 28 seconds to go, and 12 yards on that play to Richards.
I'm really impressed with Richards and his receiving skills, how hard he runs his routes. He backs the corners off, then immediately snaps his head around, and does a good job of catching the ball with his hands.
7 for 96 yards, and that one incomplete. Stevens defending against Richards. Again, 7 catches for 96 yards for Amon Richards.
Trying to throw the back shoulder fade here. And Stevens just in a good position there. Was able to swat it away with the left hand. A lot of hand fighting going on. But Stevens looked back for the ball, and I think that's what obviously gave him the opportunity to not be flagged there.
So just 18 seconds to go in the quarter. Miami has a timeout to work with, and NC State is going to take one now.
NC State had slid Stacy Coley to the slot area. Mark trying to find those matchups. Mark trying to find matchups. Coley, the senior wide receiver, is not, to my knowledge, doesn't have a catch today. and he came into the leading receiver for the Hurricanes. There's no catches. I'm not even sure a ball's gone his direction yet, but Coley that time, they moved him from outside down into the slot. He's been there a couple times in the game, and I'm not sure Dave Dorn necessarily liked, or Dave Huxtable, who's the defensive coordinator of NC State, necessarily liked where Coley was lined up. It looked like it was going to be zone coverage. Coley was going to be able to threaten him down through the middle.
Coley has a catch in 19 straight games, Dave, and 8 receiving touchdowns, second best in the conference this year, but no catches in the game for Stacy Coley, who had 47 to start the afternoon.
A big play guy, and you got to figure that at some point he's going to see the football. Same set with the receivers. Here's Coley in the slot. And NC State has changed their look. They don't have the middle of the field open. Now they're going to come with pressure.
2nd and 10. Walton driving his way to the 5. And the Canes have that timeout. 7 yards on the play. And the clock stops with 12 seconds to go. Timeout, Miami.
I do like the call because NC State called timeout to get coverage set, and they weren't necessarily set for the run game. Walton almost creased him. It was a good call. Now you're on the 6-yard line. You're probably going to only have a couple plays anyway, so now you got an opportunity. Trust your veteran quarterback that he's going to make a good decision with the ball here on 3rd down to conserve your opportunity to kick a field goal.
Kaya has 19 passing touchdowns this season. 12 seconds to go. With the ball at the 6-yard line. Miami's 1 for 1 in the red zone today. That was a first-quarter field goal from Michael Badgley from 31 yards away. And they can get a first down at the 2.
And you're close. Yeah, but that it factors in with 12 seconds, but you're more importantly not want to give up a touchdown. Now, Richards has been outstanding. He's right here. Njoku is the matchup problem. He's in the slot right there.
So Kaya looking to that end zone. Back of the end zone and too high.
Boy, it was the right decision. They wanted Njoku on the back edge, but NC State got enough pressure to where Kaya couldn't wait. Here comes the pressure on Kaya, and it's Bradley Chubb. Why not? Bradley Chubb coming, pressure from the inside as well. He wanted Njoku on the back line of the goal line. He was going to throw it to his big tight end, but he had to let it go well before he was ready to and just couldn't put Njoku up the back.
Michael Badgley, 23-yard attempt. Try to put the Canes in front. 8 seconds to go in this half. Badgley's kick is no good. It is no good from Badgley.
Boy, that's a tough one. Bagley has been pretty good all year long. In fact, missed 4 kicks all year. But that one slides. Just left, just hooked it just a little bit. That's a hard one to explain to those guys that have been battling for 30 minutes that chip that one through for them.
So Badgley, who had made a 31-yarder in the first quarter, misses by the width of a football in his second attempt from 23 yards away. He had made 11 of his last 12 field goal attempts, but that one no good. And just 5 seconds to go in the quarter, tied at 3. Gillespie. Just to finish off the final seconds, Dave, we're tied at 3 through the first half.
I'm really surprised. There's a lot of weapons on both offenses, but hey, both defenses have stood tall, and now the adjustments start to begin to happen. Coach Drinkwitz, offensive coordinator for NC State, and of course Mark Richt on Miami's side, got to make some adjustments, find a way to get their playmakers the football.
All tied at 3. NC State had the ball to start the game, so Miami will have the ball when we come back for the second half after missing that short field goal, and we go down to Roddy.
Coach, been a defensive struggle for much of the first half. Your defense has stood up. What's been so good for them?
We're playing hard. You know, we're getting under the quarterback. We're keeping the ball in front. We haven't given up any explosive plays. Got tackled a little bit better. We just got to catch the ball in offense. We got 5 drops that are killing our drives right now.
Yeah, flip side on offense, 1 for 9 on third downs. What do you have to do to get that corrected other than just catching the football?
Catch the ball. I mean, it's throw and catch, and we're looking at a different game right now. We've dropped 5 passes.
Absolutely. Thanks, Coach. Well, Katie, for all the talk of the offenses, it's been the defenses that have come to play. Let's go to you guys down there in Charlotte.
CC Network. Skillet's been rocking our games all season. The band joined our team 7 years ago with their double platinum single Monster, and they've kicked off our coverage every Saturday this year with their hit single Feel Invincible from their new album Unleashed. Skillet has sold more than 11 million units worldwide, so we'll see who's invincible as we look to Orlando for the ACC Championship game. But we've got more football to play before that. Before we kick it off for the second half here at halftime, Carter Finley Stadium. Tom and Dave with you. And Dave, 3-3 at the half, but both teams really had a lot of chances to score some points in the first half.
Yeah, the defense has kind of imposed their will a little bit, but then there were some moments where you had some opportunities. Miami obviously had an opportunity to put 3 more on the board, a drop pass in the end zone for NC State, so some points were left on the field, but defense has been the operative word so far today.
Dave, let's look at the numbers from the first half, or look at the Gatorade halftime stats, the Canes in the pack.
Yeah, and NC State really struggling to stay on the field on third down. You can see that. Richards and Harmon have had good game. Richards in particular, the freshman wide receiver from the U, has done an outstanding job of converting on third down and keeping them on the field, no question about it. But when you look at how this team has gone, or this game has gone, Roddy, both defenses dictated. Do we see something offensively coming up?
You're exactly right, Arch. The defenses have dictated it. And when I caught up with Coach Mark Rigg just a second ago, he said it was heartbreaking to drive the ball down the field and then miss that field goal at the end of the half. But he pointed to his offense's ability to move the football and was optimistic that if they got the ball first, which they do, and drive down and score, that would really give them some momentum that they could build upon in the second half. So that's what he's looking for out of his team to start the second half.
Yeah, I would think that momentum either way is kind of a fleeting thing right now. So if you can hold this game here in the second half and do something offensively, it certainly puts the other team under the gun, because these two defenses playing at a high level.
Gus Edwards deep along with Malcolm Lewis for the opening kickoff of the second half.
Have to continue to watch how this weather unfolds. A little bit of a front blowing in, and the wind has begun to shift here. A lot of wind early, but they're expecting a ton of wind here in the second half, and it could affect an opportunity for a field goal or something to potentially win the game.
Kyle Bernbard with the read team. We're ready to go. All tied at 3, the Pack and the Canes. That'll sail to the back of the end zone. ACC football brought to you in HD by your local Tire Pros dealer. Win a VIP trip for 2 to the ACC Championship game in Orlando and Continental Tire at TireProSweepstakes.com. December 3rd, the date of that championship game. 8 o'clock, start of the coverage.
Let's see what Coach Rick has been able to find. Remember, he's the offensive coordinator, calls the plays, so he would have been the guy in charge of trying to make some adjustments, and it did not block NC State at all in the first half.
Brad Kaya, 14 of 25, 164 yards passing in the first half. Over the middle, incomplete, beyond the 30. Walton breaks away. There's a flag that's come out well behind the play as Walton gets to about the 44.
It's a roughing the passer.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 35, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Contavious Street is going to get called for the roughing the passer call, and a nice decision by Kaya to lay this ball off to Walton underneath. Looking for the roughing the passer. And a blow to the back right there by Street, and then here he just checks the ball down to Walton. And this is probably the part of Yerby and Walton's game that didn't get talked about enough. Good receivers out of the backfield. Nice play there by Walton.
So Street to the sideline. They got 19 yards on that previous play and the penalty. Kaya's pass on the money at the 30. 82, Amon Richards, the freshman, 11 yards and a first down for Miami.
Well, you talk about being on the same page with a young receiver. Kaya, it's zone coverage, and Richards runs behind the defender. Excellent throw by Kaya as he's trying to dial them in here on this opening drive of the second half. You see what they were unable to get done in the first half, just the one drive that led to a field goal.
8 catches, 107 yards for Amon Richards so far. Walton, right side, has the room, and Walton to the end zone for Miami. 30 yards for Mark Walton.
Well, this is a group from Miami that's too talented at the skill position level. If you can find a way to get NC State blocked, and I thought that was the biggest problem for Miami. They just could not block NC State. Well, they figured that out here on this opening drive. A couple of throws from Kaya, then Walton creases him with the run game. Good job up front, and then a poor angle coming down by Boone, the safety. Walton shows the speed to put it in the end zone. Nice opening drive. Roddy talked about momentum. How about that momentum? Well, Mark Walton closing in on his own 1,000 yards. He's off to a great start here in the second half, and the U has showed up on offense.
Close King indoor practice facility here on the Raleigh campus. Miami in the process of building their own state-of-the-art indoor practice facility, Dave.
Yeah, they're excited about what's going on down there. And, you know, these are the kind of chips that you have to be able to slide in the middle of the table for recruiting. But they're really excited about what's going on at Miami and some of the facilities they're building.
81,000 square feet for the football program down at Miami. At the Carroll Sofer football indoor practice facility, and Coach Richt donating $1 million as well for that effort. Hines about 4 or 5 yards deep, and that's where he's going to stay.
Well, we saw Coach Richt came up with some ways to adjust, and really it was about, can you block the guys in front so we can get the run game going and let the quarterback throw it. So I'm not sure how sophisticated maybe the adjustments were by Mark Richt. Well, the same thing has to happen for NC State. They have not been able to block the front seven of Miami today. Let's see what they've come up with. It's about getting the ball to your playmakers, but ultimately it comes down to you got to be able to block people.
Days is the back with Finley to his right. Nine carries and 25 yards in the first half for Matt Days. Finley to the air. Right at the first down marker at the 35, and Steph Lewis. He'll get away for a couple of extra yards and 13 yards on the play.
When you look at Miami defensively in the first half, it's exactly what you were looking for. Stop Matt Days, play tight coverage, get their runners on the ground, and hit people. And that's exactly what Miami did the entire first half. It's as good a performance as they've had all season on defense.
Pack is going to work with 5 receivers on first down from their own 38. Finley shovels it forward near midfield. And it was Steph Lewis.
Excellent recognition, Tom, by Finley to understand where are my outlets. And he realizes he's not running for a first down, but he bought time, slides up in the pocket, and he finds Lewis over the ball. Just shoots it to him, little shovel pass forward, and Lewis squeezes the ball for a first down.
It's 11 yards, but at the end of the play, Finley got dumped to the turf. Good presence of mind, though, to know where the line of scrimmage was before he got rid of that one as he improvised and sent it forward. First down at midfield. Days puts on the brakes. He's going back to the left. Matt Days accelerating. And knocked down at the 28 by Jamal Carter.
Well, very similar to what we saw with Mark Walton. Walton found that cutback lane. Matt Days finds the cutback here. Going to press the right side, look for the cutback, and get into that hole. And does a good job of getting all the way to the backside, and now NC State threatening on offense. So both offenses kind of got pushed around in the first half trying to answer the call here in the second half.
Days running through 23 yards on the previous play. The ball's on the turf. Finley picked it up and then immediately sent it right back to the ground. As we go down to the sidelines, more on Matt Days, Roddy.
It was a little bit of tough sledding for Matt Days in the first half, but when we talked to offensive coordinator Elias Drinkwitz, he said that's not uncommon. You look at the Clemson game, the Florida State game, and the game last week against Syracuse, it was tough sledding for him as well, but he has that desire, that want for the football that makes him a great back. And he said, we're going to stay committed to the run so that late in those games, Matt Days can take over and assert his will.
Yeah, he was really kicking himself, was Coach Drinkwitz, about how they didn't stay with the run game against BC, a game they ultimately lost.
Finley rolling right, throwing on the run. And Miami had the best chance to come away with that one. Rashawn Jenkins got his hands on it.
Excellent coverage by Jenkins on this deep comeback route. Jenkins is the safety. He's the half safety, just rolls with the quarterback, keeps good leverage on the throw, and really a poor decision by Finley to shoot that one out there. Jenkins had a chance to steal it.
Third and 10 for NC State.
Leading receiver for NC State is right there. That's Jalen Samuels. Miami showing zone coverage this time.
Just 1 for 9 on third down of the game for the Pack.
Jumping at it and looking for pressure.
Finley's pass. There were 3 Canes in the vicinity. Nyheim Hines put his hand up to try to get it, and a couple of flags came out.
I'm not sure Jalen Samuels could have caught this ball, but there's no question there was a collision prior to the ball arriving.
Pass interference, defense, number 26. Penalty is half the distance. First down.
And as good a play as Rashawn Jenkins on the play before, this is a bad play. Really no reason to collision Jalen Samuels because it's really well covered. The zone coverage underneath, and I'm sure it wasn't Jalen Samuels, it was actually Nyheim Hines coming in the slot there. But I'm not sure the ball could have caught it. See, Mark Richt is indicating that it was tipped at the line of scrimmage, which would wave off any interference down the field. But the officials aren't paying any attention. So a break, if it was one, for NC State. And you got to get back to remembering what they like to do with their, and it looks like it is. It's Matt Days at quarterback. And Jalen Samuels will come in motion. He's the slot receiver.
Days who needs 13 yards rushing for 1,000 this season. With Samuels in motion. Keeps the football. Miami had it read very well, and it's a minimal gain for Days.
Zach McLeod, the linebacker, completely cut Days off from trying to get to the perimeter. Turned Days back to the inside where all the Hurricanes were waiting on him. Now the question is does Days have the ability to throw the ball out of that set? Because Miami is really hugging the line of scrimmage against the Wildcat. At some point, does Dave Dorn have Matt Days throw the ball out of that look?
Pack 1 for 1 in the red zone. A field goal in the second quarter, 35 yards. Days trying to find a block. Could not get away at the 11. Shaq Quarterman had him around the ankles, just a yard for Days.
Wait, Roddy talked about this linebacker core, and Roddy, I know as a running back it may be a nightmare, but these kids are playing at a high level, scraping and filling against the run game.
They really are, and I know Matt Days' eyes exploded. They were wide open when he saw that cutback lane. Mine did too, because I didn't think there was any way Shaq Quarterman was going to be able to wrap him up, but a great play by the true freshman linebacker.
It's 3rd and 8. Edge pressure. Finley eludes it, throws to the end zone, and it's intercepted. Malik Young, the interception for the Canes.
Pass intercepted by Malik Young.
Just a good job of pressuring the quarterback and making him uncomfortable, first of all, by Miami. And then an ill-advised throw. This is where a quarterback has got to take care of the ball. If it's not a clean look, you have to preserve the field goal. Jenkins with Harris with immediate pressure, and then the throw into coverage. And Miami stood tall on their opening drive offensively. Their defense comes up with a takeaway. It's the U by 7.
50 years of this venerable facility and trying to close out the home schedule with a victory for NC State and become bowl eligible. Miami has the football. It's Walton into the pile. He's got the TD run, Dave.
Tom, Roddy talked about trying to seize some momentum. Well, Miami's offense did a little screen pass to Walton, got the thing started, got a roughing the passer call that added 15. Excellent throw here to Richards on the slant, and then Walton with the speed to the edge, blow by, and a touchdown.
12th rushing touchdown of the season for Walton. Kaya looks, delivers at the 30. Stacy Coley, and a flag in the pocket behind the play.
Personal foul, face mask, offense, number 52. Penalty is half the distance to the goal. Second down.
Casey McDermott. We talked about McDermott bumping from guard out to left tackle. With some of the injuries they've got up front, Trevor Darling, their normal starter, started 27 games at left tackle, was unable to go today. So they bumped McDermott out to guard, and Bother stepped in at guard, and they bumped McDermott out to tackle. But so he's had a tough day today.
Just showed you that Walton TD run of 30 yards. Miami had 22 total rushing yards in the first half. It's Walton again beyond the 30. Sean Boone made the tackle and he got 20 yards back after the penalty. Mark Walton.
Yeah, Walton's starting to get a lather up now as he's starting to get some carries, and a poor fit on the outside. It looked by Dravius Wright, the extra defender on that outside edge, just did not fit the run very well. Walton took advantage of that outside area and bounced it up the field for a first down.
Breather for Walton. He's gone over 100 yards rushing 5 times this season from just beyond the 30. Quick pass. It's going to be Njoku.
David Njoku, the mismatch. I don't even know what you call this guy. Tight end, receiver. He can run like a receiver. He's 6'4", 245. And Rodney, this guy's a handful.
And he's a matchup nightmare, as you said. When he split them out, it creates these pictures, as Dave Huxtable talked about, that goes against the personnel packages. He said they can run 12 personnel that looks like 11 or 10 personnel because they're able to split both he and Chris Herndon, the other tight end, out wide as well.
The numbers equate to how many backs and how many tight ends are in the game, 12, 11, all that type of stuff. Some of the technical jargon that most coaches use to determine which personnel is supposed to be in the game. But Njoku fits into just about everything. And Richards, boy, I'm really impressed with this kid. First opportunity I've had to see him play an entire game. They've got a big-time receiver on their hands.
He's got 9 catches, 117 yards. That is complete. Stacy Coley, the race to the end zone. And he got tracked down by Josh Jones, but what a grab from Coley.
Tom, these are the kind of throws that have the Miami fans kind of scratching their head when they don't see it all the time. This is a big-time throw by Kyle. Looks the safety of the middle field and right on the money in a tight window throw to Coley, the big-timer on the outside. Wondered when the senior was going to get it. How tight a throw was that by Kaya, right on the money to Coley, who shoves it inside the 5-yard line. Wow. Those are the kind of throws that, as a fan going into his junior year, expect to see that all the time. Not realistic to be able to make those throws every time, but you can see the talent that oozes from Brad Kaya every now and then. That was a big-timer right there.
51 yards on the catch by Coley, his first. Now that's 20 straight games with a reception for Stacy Coley, the senior from Pompano Beach, Florida. Josh Jones was the player they were attending to. Dexter Wright has come in for Josh Jones, who had a touchdown-saving tackle, but the ball lies at the 2-yard line. First and goal, Miami. They've already scored a touchdown on their first drive of the second half.
The big backs in the game.
Forging toward the goal line, coming up short. Gus Edwards, second effort. He got 1.
That Marquez Williams is checked in at fullback. He's 280. And Gus Edwards, the tailback, who's checking out of the game now, is 230. So A lot of beef coming at you on that play, but a good job by NC State to hold him out of the end zone.
7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Miami got a 30-yard run from Mark Walton for its score earlier this quarter. Second possession now. Second and goal. Kaya does not like what he sees. They take the first time out of the half for the Miami Hurricanes.
And a good decision. This is an opportunity for Miami to put the game in a really difficult position for NC State. As good as you're playing defensively, you have to come away with 7 if you're Miami.
Let's check in with our Charlotte studios and Katie with a
play by Clinton Lynch. The guy, all he does is make big plays down the field.
How about the day for Amon Richards, Dave? He now has 9 catches, career high, 117 yards on the day.
Tommy's been impressive. The route running has been excellent. Run after the catch has been outstanding. Just been a big-time player when they really needed somebody to step up. Coley's been taken away. Amon Richards has stepped up, and you see the most by a freshman. Just broke the record of the great Michael Irvin. How about that?
Second and goal. Up the middle, Walton. And he crashes into the end zone from a yard away. Mark Walton, a second rushing TD for Miami.
And Mark Walton now with 13 rushing touchdowns on the year. Benefactor, the big fullback Williams, going to try to chip on him. That big offensive line keeps the legs churning straight ahead. And a good job by Walton to just get in behind and push it in the end zone. But Mark Richt, maybe a couple subtle adjustments at halftime, maybe a kick in the butt to his offensive line, something, because this Miami offense has come out and looked like the group we thought we'd see from the opening snap.
There's a flag on this extra point attempted by Badgley.
Offside, defense, that penalty's declined. Try is good.
So 2 possessions and 2 touchdowns for Miami. And we'll be back after a word from your local ACC station. The folks that send in those pizzas get a gift certificate from Mellow Mushroom Pizza. Watch for a text and claim your prize. The Mellow Mushroom Tweetses. Those have been fun all season long, Dave Archer.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fans get involved with the broadcast. We appreciate that, and with our Mellow Mushroom Tweetses this year. And how about that? I mean, can't beat getting $100 worth of pizza.
Great interaction with the fantastic college football fans throughout the country who are such faithful viewers of ACC football presented by Mellow Mushroom. By the way, Richards now his 3rd 100-yard receiving game of the season, and it breaks that freshman record. That is a free ball as it hits the turf. Hines, and taken down near the 30-yard line. A 22-yard return for Hines. Hey, you're feeling like a champion today. Tire Pros giving you the opportunity to be one with the Road to the Championship Sweepstakes. Enter for a chance to win a VIP trip or 2 to the ACC Championship game and a new set of Continental tires. Enter today at TireProSweepstakes.com. Roddy, what do you got down there?
Tom, you saw that kickoff that just happened hang up in the air. There's been a cold front that moved in at halftime that has created gusts of wind that are 20 to 25 miles an hour. And while we have a 0% chance of measurable rain, I'm told, it's drizzling a little bit. I'm getting a little wet.
Finley dancing around, looking for an option. Did he have one? That is incomplete to Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis actually catches the ball, but he's out of bounds. But Miami just doing a nice job with their discipline defensively. Remember, this is a young defense now. Just nowhere to throw the ball. You're going to try to squeeze it in here. You got a linebacker right there. You don't want to turn the ball over and you're into the field. Now as he moves out of the pocket, where are you going to throw the ball? You're going to try to shove it here with a linebacker closing? I don't think so. Just a nice job by Miami to take away all the options.
Great weather update from Roddy. Showing off the meteorological skills. It was beautiful to start the day, and now, as Roddy said, it's gotten a little bit darker, and the breezes have picked up as Myers made the catch.
Sometimes you're caught. They were caught on that jailbreak screen right there, but because of the athleticism of Pickney, he's able to get back and knock them down. So that was a play that was out the gate right there, and just the athleticism of Pickney kept it from being a big play.
Third down has been an absolute nightmare for NC State. Just 1 of 10 in this ball game. Finley just got it away, took the hit up near the 45 and complete. Steph Lewis, and that'll move the chains for NC State.
Well, it's a nice play by Lewis. You heard Dave Dorn talk about how balls were being dropped in the first half. Pressure, Pickney coming right through the middle, drops the hammer on the quarterback, and a nice catch by Lewis, who dropped a touchdown earlier in the game. Makes a big catch there.
That pass is going to be incomplete as Samuels tried to make a one-handed grab out in the flat.
This is where because the defense has gotten to you as a quarterback, it changes you a little bit from your timing. And Finley's got to stay with his techniques, with his footwork. That time the footwork not as good, and his feet set underneath him to make a good accurate throw to Samuels in the right flat. That's what pressure begins to do to a quarterback.
2nd and 10 from the 45. And trailing 17-3, Miami has scored a touchdown on both of its possessions in the second half. Finley steps up and complete at the 40 and inside of it down to the 37. And Steph Lewis, a popular target, and there was some activity post-whistle after a 17-yard play.
Yeah, a little extra hit there at the back end. Excellent job by Finley against the 4-man pass rush to slide up in the pocket, wait on the deep end route to Lewis, and put it on the money. Lewis does a good job of securing the catch first. Little hit at the back end there as Miami trying to get in and deal out some little punishment. Demetrius Jackson, defensive end, comes in and gets a shot in.
4th catch for Steph Lewis, who had a miss last year with a couple of shoulder surgeries. It's going to be Matt Days for 2. Matt Days, who has 37 career touchdowns, 3rd in school history. You would think the Pack is going to need number 21 to make a comeback here in the second half. We were tied 3-3. Days needs 9 yards for 1,000. More importantly, the Wolfpack needs some points on this drive. Inside of 5 minutes to go in the 3rd. Open man at the 30. Myers close to the marker. 7 yards on the play. Corn Elder wrestled him to the turf.
Yeah, this is one of the first times I've seen Miami didn't time up their blitz very quickly. Manny Diaz trying to dial up some pressure. Wanted to come off of Finley's right. Were late with the pressure, and so they weren't getting there quick enough to be able to affect Finley.
3rd and short. Finley will dive forward and have the first down near the 27-yard line. Chains are going to roll. Finley also rolling, and now to his feet.
Yeah, Finley nursing the ankle, hurt his ankle, kind of shrugging his shoulders there a little bit, took a little shot up in the head area there, but so he's kind of moving his head around, maybe took a shot in the shoulder. Official came in and checked with him, see if he was okay. Let's take a look at the back end of this, see what happened to him. Yeah, he got bent over right there. Quarterman, the linebacker, kind of bends him the wrong direction. Looks like he's okay, though. Finley, tough kid.
9th play of the current drive for NC State. Samuels around the corner and pushed out near the 20-yard line. That's 8 yards for Jalen Samuels. Dave, as a former quarterback, you've had a few quarterback sneaks in your day. What's it like trying to dive into that pile?
Yeah, it's not the fun one, especially when you've got guys like Quarterman that realize you're kind of in a vulnerable position and say, hey, does your neck bend this way? And they kind of tweak you over one way or the other. But, yeah, that's the play you'd like to leave up to the guys like Matt Days, get those first downs.
2nd and short. Leave it to Days. Cuts through the line. Spins at the 10. Days continues down to the 6. Jamal Carter finally brought him down. Matt Days, 12 yards.
Yeah, one of the reasons Matt Days, Tom, gets some of the extra yards is because when he makes a decision, he goes full speed. He splits it right there. There was no hesitation. He picked the crease and split it and got an additional 6 yards, and he shoves it inside the Miami 10-yard line.
He also goes over 1,000 yards for the season. The first player in a Pack uniform since '02 when T.A. McClendon got it done. More importantly, though, for NC State, 1st and goal. Days knifing his way and down to the 2. That is determined running from Matt Days at 5 yards.
And I like the play call, Tom, because what they're doing is they're bringing Jalen Samuels is going to draw attention. Samuels lines up as a wing and comes across in motion, and he passes behind the quarterback just as the ball snaps. So you're not sure whether they're going to hand you to Samuels on the jet sweep, which he scored on a week ago against Syracuse, or you're going to turn and hand it to Days. And so they're maximizing their 2 main ball carriers in this situation.
Days had 3 rushing touchdowns a week ago. 2nd and goal for the Wolfpack.
Nobody out on Samuels out here in the slot, and now Miami going to have to. No, NC State burns the timeout. Miami was really had a tough time lining up on the play, but it's NC State that calls the timeout.
Let's check in with our Charlotte studios and Katie Witham.
Up 21-10, 4th quarter. Tom, Dave.
Got that big play cranked up as Marshall with a long touchdown. You had Clinton Lynch with a 54-yard play, and Clay Searcy goes 60 yards for the touchdown as well. So Georgia Tech, it's one of those deals where the water drop keeps hitting you in the forehead. The next thing you know, they slap you in the side of a sledgehammer, and the guy goes for a touchdown.
Stan throwing in a dadgum for good measure, too. Taking Tommy's line. All right, 2nd and goal. The current drive, 11 plays, 68 yards. That football just beyond the 2, Dave.
Tom, and I would think that Coach Drinkowitz is probably coaching against a mistake here, too. So he's probably going to want to keep the ball in Days or Samuel's hands.
Give it to Samuels. Denied. Oh, denied at the 2. Stacked up and losing 1. That's Jamal Carter and Jaquan Johnson.
It's just so good by Miami to understand who's going to touch the ball down here. Excellent job, first of all, by Johnson to keep leverage to the outside to make Samuels turn back to the inside, and Carter is there to make the play. That's excellent disciplined defense by Miami.
Now the ball's on the 3, Dave, and it's 3rd and goal.
Yeah, I would think you're probably looking at trying to get the ball in a pick play to Samuels right here, maybe coming this way. Now they're going to send him to the other side of the field. Well, here he comes back. Look for Samuels in the flat.
Finley looking, stumbles, tosses it to the end zone, batted around from one Miami player to another. Jamal Carter to Rayshon Jenkins. The officials are talking about it, and it's an interception.
Yeah, this ball gets tipped by Carter. The big question is he out of bounds when he tips the ball? Because his ball's caught in bounds. Now here's Carter with 6. Now see his left foot's on the line, it looks like to me. Now Jenkins makes the catch in bounds, so it's the catch is clean. Now look at Carter's feet. That tip is clean. He's standing on the line there, maybe. Wow, that's close. The first tip is fine. It's the second tip. Is his foot on the ground and on the line? Boy, that's going to be hard to tell there, because the catch is clean by Jenkins on the second tip. I just can't tell if Carter's left foot's on the ground. And what do you need, Tom?
You need indisputable video evidence to overturn the call. And the call on the field is an interception and a touchback.
Yeah, I would say Carter's left foot is on the line when he touches the ball right there. And that would be waved off. That would be, if I was interpreting the replay upstairs. Heck of a play by Carter on really a ball. If you're going to throw the ball away, if you're Finley, throw the ball out of bounds. Don't throw it in harm's way. And an excellent play by Carter to try to keep it alive on the tip drill there with Jenkins pulling it in.
Well, Dave, Mark Richt already has 1 interception in the end zone from Malik Young. That happened in the 3rd quarter, earlier on in this 3rd quarter. That was in the red zone. And now potentially another interception, which would be credited to Rayshon Jenkins.
As there's just too much time left in the game for Dave Dorn's team This is not a desperation, throw it in the end zone, guy needs to come up with a play for you. You got a whole quarter of football left. So Finley has to take care of the ball down there.
Okay, Dennis Redding is our replay official, working in conjunction with the officials on the field and the command center in Greensboro, North Carolina, to make sure they get this call correct. And as we showed you in the replays, it is very close as far as Jamal Carter's foot being on the line, that sideline of the end zone, as he tipped it back. Whether intentional or not, Dave, Rayshon Jenkins was able to come up with it.
Yeah, the ball, he's got to throw the ball away here, though, because there's nothing there. He has nothing. Now you got to throw the ball away.
After further review, the defender was out of bounds when he touched the ball. Therefore, it is an incomplete pass. It'll be fourth down. The ball be placed on the left hash at the 3-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a heck of an effort by Carter to keep the ball alive. I mean, it's supposed to be a throwaway. Carter realized he didn't do it, and he kept it alive for Jenkins to make the catch. So, pretty nice job there.
So it is now fourth down for NC State. Finley still on the field.
All right, well, you tried the sprint out. That's a standard play where you try to get it back in the flat, which you were trying to get Samuels in the flat. Now are you willing to come up with kind of a gadget play? Slip the tight end out the backside by rolling this way. Let's see if there's something gadget-wise they can come up with.
Days to the goal line, dives in. Matt Days would not be denied from 3 yards away. Touchdown Pack.
Boy, a moment on senior day where you needed someone to step up, and it wasn't just the ball carrier. He needed, and I'm talking about Dave Doran and this NC State team. They needed more. They needed the 11 guys on the offensive side to make a play. And Matt Days is ultimately the guy that shoves it in the end zone. Gets some good blocking on the perimeter. Heck of a drive. Had to go all the way to fourth down to find a way to scratch and get a touchdown, but Days shoves it in the end zone.
8th rushing touchdown of the season for Matt Days from 3 yards out. .50 seconds to go in the third quarter, and the Pack in the end zone for the first time today. Haskins knocks it through.
Well, when it comes down to it, you can do all the gadget stuff you want to. How about just give your best football player the ball and say, hey, stop me. And Matt Days is collisioned at the 2-yard line, runs through the tackle of Carter, and will not be denied on his last game in Carter Finley Stadium for a touchdown, and the Wolfpack are right back in it.
Dave, how about this in the game? NC State is 3 of 13 on third down. That was fourth down. They are 3 for 3 on fourth down, and that one they needed most at this point of the ball game.
A heck of a play by a guy that's had really an unsung career here at NC State. We saw him, Tom, I had the pleasure of being here on Matt Days' first day as a Wolfpack member as a freshman. He had 17 carries for 84 yards and 3 touchdowns against Louisiana Tech here 4 years ago on opening day. And here you are in his final day, and he's trying to claw out a victory against a very stubborn Miami defense.
32 rushing touchdowns in the career of Matt Days, 4th best in NC State history. Edwards and Lewis are deep. It's going to be Lewis from his own end zone. Cuts it back to the 20 and falls at the 23-yard line. Travius Wright making the tackle. Time to take a look at our Haviland Player of the Week, Nathan Peterman, the senior quarterback for the Pittsburgh Panthers. One of the biggest upsets in college football this season. 5 TD passes against the Clemson Tigers.
Not going to get a better line than that. 308 yards, 5 scores, did not turn the football over. Career high pass yards and touchdowns for Nathan Peterman. What a monster day he had against number 2 Clemson in their own building.
A robust stat line from Nathan Peterman. And we'll see him next week leading the Panthers against the Orange. Njoku goes down the sideline, forced out by Jones. Next week we'll get you started at noon with the ACC Blitz. Then at 12:30 the kickoff between Syracuse and Pittsburgh. It's the 72nd all-time meeting. Pittsburgh's won 3 in a row in that series and 10 of the last 11. Coley trying to create on the edge. Couldn't quite get to the 40 and got 3 yards.
Trying to spread NC State out a little bit, take advantage of the mismatch on the outside with their speed, but also talking about their respect for that interior 7 for NC State, trying to get the ball in the perimeter.
Coley had a big catch earlier in this quarter, 51 yards to set up a TD from Mark Walton, who has 2 rushing touchdowns in this game. All right, that's the end of the third. Great football game here in the second half. Both teams have picked it up. We're headed to the fourth. Miami in front. Carolina Education Lottery celebrating 10 years and over $4.5 billion raised for education. Learn more at nc-educationlottery.org.
Well, Tom, evidently NC State needs to get it to 4th down. Not very good on 3rd down, but they're 3 for 3 on 4th down, including the touchdown by Matt Days that has them right back in the game.
Miami with the ball to start the fourth. Kaya 21 of 32 and 278 yards. Trying to add to it, and that one incomplete.
Good pressure by Contavious Street. Forces this throw high. Kaya waiting to try to make the throw. Just overthrows the pass. See the first and second half differential for Miami on 1st down. Pretty big difference, and give Mark Rick some credit. Give the gumption of that offensive line some credit too. They played better.
Coach Rick and the Canes scored touchdowns on both possessions in the third quarter. This is the continuation of their third possession into the fourth. Kaya too far for Coley.
Well, man coverage again, and NC State coming with pressure. Both these defensive coordinators want to come with pressure. Manny Diaz, obviously Dave Huxtable wants to come with pressure. They're really making life uncomfortable for the quarterbacks, Roddy.
Well, they're making life uncomfortable for the quarterback, but they're making it uncomfortable for the receivers as well. A lot of times, as you said, when you get that pressure, they bump the receivers at the line of scrimmage. It looked like Stacy Coley slipped when coming out of his break on that one, and that caused the throw to be overthrown.
Cherry wanted a fair catch. The ball on the turf, and it's Miami football. Jaquan Johnson comes up with it for the Canes after a 45-yard punt, and Cherry puts it on the grass.
We talked about the win, the differential in the win from pregame. And, Roddy, I got to figure that the win might have had something to do with this.
It did. It carried that ball. We're going towards the part of the field where the wind is starting to carry a little bit, and that made Braylon Cherry retreat. And it's really tough to catch a punt when the wind is making the ball dance as much as it is right now.
Well, you could see it. Roddy was talking about it carried the ball. You see Cherry started to settle under it, and then it kind of had to adjust to his right at the last moment. And he'd be the first guy to tell you he's got to catch it, but that makes it tough. We talked about the wind switching around from what they experienced in pregame.
The wind coming from the west to the east through the stadium. Walton drags a couple of red shirts inside the 10. Chubb and Jones. The tackle on 8 yards for Mark Walton.
Good hard running by Mark Walton. Has 2 touchdowns on the day, and that's just will to run, powering through the middle there.
Second and 2 with a first down at the 6 potentially for the Canes. Walton. He got sent backward. Darius Moore and no gain.
You love Walton's patience, but Chubb is a guy that'll make you have to wait. See, he's disruptive. He gets down in the middle, kind of made Walton hesitate. Walton's got a natural little jump step, but that was Chubb that made him hesitate there and allowed Moore to come in and make the hit.
Third and 2. Walton again, third straight time. Down to the 5-yard line, and that is good enough for a first down.
Well, you got to figure that there was a challenge levied because there really hasn't been a ton of adjustments from maybe a few blocking assignments a little bit different. But Miami their offensive line just playing better, and they're just coming off of the ball. There's David Njoku working against Chubb. Got enough of him to allow Walton to fold in and get the first down.
First and goal, Hurricanes. Kaya puts a little touch on it, but too far for Njoku.
Trying to hang the ball to Njoku in the back line. Let's take a look at the pressure on Kaya. Waiting. It's a big shot at the end. There's not a lot of plays that have gone through this game where either Kaya or Finley haven't been digging themselves off of the ground after they've thrown the ball.
2 for 3 in the red zone for Brad Kaya and the Canes. Kaya over 2,800 yards passing this season. First Hurricane quarterback to do that 3 straight years. On second and goal, Walton sent backward by Fernandez.
Yeah, we've talked about the young linebackers for Miami. Well, the veteran linebackers for NC State don't take a backseat to anybody. Moore made the big hit on Walton the previous play, and here's Fernandez. These two guys have been playing since they were pups here in the Wolfpack. Now veteran linebackers in their junior year, and they know how to play.
Third and goal for these teams that have not played since 2012. Kaya looking left to the end zone. It's incomplete. Looked like Herndon might have caught it, but out of bounds back there.
And a good disciplined play by the freshman, Nick McLeod. He could have easily come to the inside, but he's got zone coverage to the outside. He stays at home. It's really a well-thrown ball by Kaya to give Herndon an opportunity to high point it, but McLeod is in a perfect position where Herndon has no room to make the catch. Nice play by the freshman to stay at home, not be pulled in by the route that came to the inside.
Badgley from 22 yards away, made from 31, missed from 23, and this is good. A 22-yard bullet from Badgley.
I think he just snaked it in on that left upright, too.
So now 2 for 3 in field goals for Badgley. The difference is 10. SEC football is presented by Mellow Mushroom. Tom Wormy, Dave Archer, Roddy Jones on the sidelines.
Tom, pretty good stop by NC State after the fumble punt by Cherry. Found a way to get a stop and force a field goal there to keep themselves in the game.
That's Hines. He's going to stay there, and we're going to go to
Georgia Tech up 24-17 though. Tom, Dave.
No doubt what color Stan's wearing in the studio today.
Finley still has it. And they'll slide down beyond the 35-yard line.
Now, both quarterbacks probably have an opportunity for a play like this as the zone read play. And this is just to keep Miami honest, because Miami folding down, trying to take away days. This is the true zone read. Finley just keeps out the backside for a first down run. I think Kaya could probably get the same thing done if he decided to pull it out with the way they're flowing towards Walton.
10 yards and a first down for Ryan Finley, the sophomore quarterback. He'll throw it into Miami territory. Kelvin Harmon has the grab.
Boy, such a good read by Finley. It's a 2-deep cover 2 look to that side of the field. The safety's going to jam and sit in the flat. Samuels is in the flat, so he throws it behind the corner before the safety can get there to Harmon. Excellent read by Finley. Boy, that's a nice play.
23 yards for Kelvin Harmon. He had 101 yards receiving last week against Syracuse. Finley improvising. Samuels trying to stay in bounds, and they'll mark him out near the 35-yard line. It was Malik Young forced him out, and that'll be 7 yards for Samuels.
Coach Drinkwitz channeling his inner Chip Kelly here, a little Oregon offense, if you will, with Marcus Mariota.
Our 1st and 10 line brought to you by the North Carolina Education Lottery, celebrating 10 years, over $4.5 billion raised for education. Teams haven't met here in Raleigh since 2008. A win for NC State, 38-28, and just the 4th all-time meeting here at NC State between the teams.
Well, Miami said enough of the zone read. We're not doing any of that anymore. They crowded the line of scrimmage, took away the perimeter run with Harris to the outside, and they closed down on the backside where the quarterback had no run. So nice job on the 3-yard loss there. This Miami just crowds the line of scrimmage. It takes away the quarterback on the backside, and Harris, who really quietly has had a really nice day. Trent Harris, the junior defensive end, has been in the backfield a lot today.
3 sacks on the season for Harris. Fine play there on 2nd down, now 3rd and 6.
Jalen Samuels one-on-one right there, man coverage.
Finley has the time over the middle, caught at the 25. Jalen Samuels up to grab it, 13 yards and a pack first down.
As you come up as a quarterback in pre-snap, you try to get a feel they play in man coverage, and that was very distinctive the way Miami was lined up. Now I got to find my best matchup. Samuels wins to the inside against an outside technique defender. Excellent throw over the middle to their leading receiver, Jalen Samuels.
4 catches for 27 yards for Jalen Samuels. Finley to the pylon. Samuels got twisted around.
Oh, he saw it a little bit late. Miami dropped coverage. We're bringing a corner blitz off of Finley's left side. And as Finley escapes, when you're rolling right, the ball's spinning that way. It has a natural tendency to tail towards the right. That's the spin of the ball, and it's hard to account for that as you're rolling that way as well. And he just carried the ball too far out of bounds, which would have been a sure walk-in touchdown for Jalen Samuels.
7th play of this drive from 24 of Miami. 2nd and 10. Quick look. Hines. Modest gains, got 9 yards.
Yeah, good quick decision, though. It's the zone read, throw off the zone read as opposed to quarterback keep. Big throw in the slot to Hines, who won to the inside on the slant route. So now you're in a very manageable situation. Remember, this is 4-down territory, I would assume. Struggled on 3rd down, but have been good on 4th down. This is probably Matt Days.
Field goal and 2 interceptions in the red zone for NC State today.
Shifting into the Wildcat.
Days breaks through. Matt Days to the end zone. A flag has been thrown behind the play.
And that's that holding area too, Tom.
Yeah, the Pack is celebrating in the end zone, but there is a yellow rag on the field.
Flipping offense, number 41. 15-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Ayers, who's one of the extra tight ends, let's see if we can see what we get here. He's going to dive down on the back of the legs of Joe Jackson, number 99. Technically, I guess that's a clip. I don't know about that now. He just kind of fell. Technically, he is on the back of Joe Jackson's legs, I guess. He really never affects Jackson at all. That's kind of nitpicking a little bit. I could see where if he cut Jackson down and knocked him to the ground, you would call that, but it didn't really affect Joe Jackson at all. But technically, you dive on the back of the guy's legs, it would be a clip.
So they go from the end zone to 3rd and 17.
Now you got to get yourself in field goal range.
Finley. That pass is complete inside the 15 to Lewis.
Wow.
And it could be, it is. That's a 1st down for NC State.
Boy, he took a shot at the back end of it again. He throws the ball in coverage. This is a ball that probably should be intercepted, but just a good job adjusting the ball by Lewis. And a 1st down, another big play by Finley under heat.
19 yards on 3rd down to get the 1st down. Finley to Lewis.
They're trying to get the play in. Now Samuels and Days in the backfield together.
Lewis now with 5 catches. And that a crucial third down play. Matt Days looking for a place to run, and the options are limited.
Miami's done a nice job, Tom, of switching up. Manny Diaz did a nice job of switching up when they're playing man and zone. I think that NC State's had a tough time kind of figuring out what Miami's doing in the red zone.
Finley's coming to the sideline, Dave. Matt Days is out there. Jalen McClendon also out there. The sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina, number 2.
Well, normally means run when he comes in, Tom.
Days has carried the ball 18 times in the game for 67 yards. He's going to get it again inside the 10. Makes a cut. Down to the 5. Look at Days go. And he refuses to go down. What a warrior. Number 21, Matt Days, 9 yards.
And just the zone read, Tom. I apologize. This is the zone read here. McClendon's the downhill portion of it. Days is the sweet part. Got enough of a block by McKeever on the outside. And then how about the freshman Harmon, the wide receiver, trying to push Days for a first down. Ends up just short.
So much emotion and physical exertion on senior day for NC State against Miami. 3rd and 2 from the 5. 11th play of the drive.
Wildcat with Days.
Days to the right. Cut it back. Close to the first down marker.
I don't think he's there, Tom. I just don't think he quite got it. Needed to get just short of the 3. Close. They have to measure this one. Boy, Days picked the crease and just went downhill, and Miami was there. Well, this is going to be very, very close.
Well, Dave, even if they don't get it, 4th down.
Oh, sure, they're going to go.
They've been great, 3 for 3.
Yeah,
they got them right where they want them.
Yeah, you'd like to have first down right here, but yeah, at 4th down, you got to figure they're going to go. And it is the link to the football.
Yep.
Now remember, the last time Finley ran the quarterback sneak, that kind of twisted awkwardly. Might wonder if does McClendon come in here, the big quarterback, and run the quarterback sneak as opposed to Finley being on the field. It's something I would consider if I'm Dave Dorn.
Jalen McClendon, number 2 and a sophomore, goes 6'5", 212 pounds. He's headed back to the bench. Finley walking out there with Samuels and Days.
Yeah, and I can't imagine this is any more than the quarterback leaning forward. I think if you risk against this Miami defense that's looking to penetrate, you turn and hand the ball, I think you're asking for trouble here. This has got to be Finley leaning forward.
How about that? 3 for 3 on 4th down in the game. None bigger than this opportunity. 4th and 1. Flags are out. Movement along the line.
Offense, number 86, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Thaddeus Moss was the one they called, the number they called. Thaddeus Moss, the freshman. See if we can see this at the top of your screen. Just a little bit of a flinch. Looked like it might have been 54 Will Richardson was where they called Thaddeus Moss. I'm not even sure he was on the field.
This is a 25-yard attempt from Haskins. Best thing you can say about that field goal, Dave? It's good.
Yeah.
Haskins, 2 for 2. Connor Haskins adds 3. 5:23 to go. And a 7-point game. The stadium, the wind whipping on senior day for 14 Wolfpack seniors honored today. Their teammates adding 3 points on a Haskins field goal, his 2nd of the game. Lewis picks it up at the 7. Lewis, a move at the 30, and then leaping up to the 35. That's a 28-yard return. So we'll step aside for just a moment and come back for the excitement of ACC football with 5:17 to go. Toyota game summary for summaries of other ACC games. Go to the Toyota Game Center on the ACC.com.
Amon Richards with the record for freshmen and receivers. Unbelievable for him today. How about the way Matt Days run the football today, Roddy?
Matt Days has run the ball incredibly hard. This is about as physical a performance as I've seen from him, and it's not because he's not been a physical runner in the past. It's just been a lot of tough yards against this stingy Miami defense.
Roddy, how about the hit at the tail end of that play? Niles Clark and then Sean Boone. It's a hit for NC State.
It's going to take two to get this big guy on the ground now. It's a big hit by Boone. Niles Clark kind of holds him up so Boone can come over and hit him. I'll tell you what, that guy is a load now, Njoku.
Njoku, 6'4", 245 pounds, and a junior. Now has 6 catches in the game and sets up 2nd and 2 for Brad Kaya and the Miami Hurricanes.
Actually, Tom, I think Njoku, a redshirt sophomore, is Njoku. So, yeah, in his 3rd year, though, so there's where the mix comes, is will they get his services for next year?
Gus Edwards should have first down yardage out towards midfield. Edwards is a junior from Staten Island, New York, and he got 5 on the rush.
First down run there by Edwards. Edwards came in averaging over 6 yards a carry. Mentioned these 3 backs, and from the top, Walton, Yerby, and Edwards have had a nice year. Just been inconsistent up front. Some of it's because of injury, inconsistent play, but their 3 backs have really carried the rock pretty well.
Don't forget Syracuse and Pittsburgh, Heinz Field for us next week to wrap up the 2016 season here on the ACC Network for the regular season. The following week will be the ACC Championship game in Orlando on December 3rd.
Veteran quarterback working the clock here for Miami.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Remember, not going with an actual audio count. He's going with a silent count, which means if he claps his hands or calls for the ball with raising of the foot, if you watch the the left guard for Miami, he's slapping the center's leg to let him know when to snap it. See, peering back, looking back, watch for the slap. There it is. Now calling for the ball.
Edwards, 45-yard line, 3 yards. Here's our performance of the game. It's brought to you by your local Chevy dealers, and it's the freshman, Amon Richards.
Boy, the future is bright for this kid. He's really, the receiver skills, you can look at the numbers, and yeah, the numbers are great, but the skills he shows in running routes, catching the ball with his hands, he's got speed, he's got run after the catch. He's a star in the making.
Guy who averages over 20 yards per catch. Kaya deflected away from Richards. Mike Stevens had to play for NC State.
A good play by Stevens. They're going to go with a fade stop or the back shoulder throw. Just trying to sell him on the fade route. Stevens does a good job of squatting down on the route and then bats it away with the left hand. Got a veteran quarterback now. Njoku is in the slot right here. He's been a tough guy to match up with. Or do you hand the ball off and make NC State burn a timeout?
Kaya lets it go. Coley adjusts. Flag comes out. Tocho was the NC State defender. There are 2 flags.
It's the dreaded underthrow.
Pass interference, defense, number 29, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Now the dreaded underthrow is going to get Jack Tocho. Let's take a look at the pressure. Roseboro going to come off the edge, put the heat on. Ooh, there's a low hit. Probably could have been called for that on Bradley. But here, the ball is underthrown. Tocho not sure where the ball is. Actually, he's in great position, but when Coley tries to come back and make the catch, now it's interference because Tocho doesn't locate the football. So it's a good call. It's just that underthrow that defensive backs are victims to virtually every weekend.
From the NC State 39. Walton around that corner. He's got first down yardage inside the 30. 12 yards, Mark Walton. A
Smart play by Walton to stay in bounds, too. There's a veteran runner for you. Although Walton's only a sophomore, he's run the ball enough to realize what they're trying to do. They're trying to kill the clock. Excellent job of getting the edge by this Miami run game, and then Walton does the right thing to stay in bounds.
Walton has 17 carries for 93 yards today for the Miami Hurricanes. Mark Walton, add to that a couple of touchdowns. Walton in the third quarter.
Walton just 17 yards shy of 1,000 yards for Mark Walton.
Walton again met at the 25 by Fernandez.
NC State will burn a timeout.
The clock a significant factor at this point.
The problem now, and neither team has really been solid in the kicking game, so you may figure that Mark may not kick the field goal.
Okay, we'll take a timeout, 2:12 to go, and we'll be back after a word from your local ACC station.
Clinging to a 7-point lead. You see the wind at the top of the stadium as it settle. Does Mark Richt have to kick a field goal here? Second down and about 7, Tom. They'd like to get a first down, try to run the clock out. NC State trying to force maybe a field goal.
That breeze, it's been up to 15 miles per hour today coming from the west, which is left to right across your screen here at Carter Finley Stadium. Just inside the 25-yard line for the Canes. Walton breaks through. Walton going to the end zone for Miami.
When it all boils down to it, Miami gets back to their ground attack. Ran the ball extremely well a week ago against Virginia, and now Mark Walton has 3 rushing touchdowns on the day. His third is the sealer for the U on the road, and a big win for the Hurricanes.
And Walton has gone over 1,000 yards for the season with his third TD rush from 24 yards away. Miami has not won here in Raleigh Day since 2004.
Well, like they've been a fly on the wall when they went in and talked about how they were unable to block NC State in the first half because their offensive line has come out with a different resolve. Got Bradley Chubb pushed to the inside. Walton runs through an arm tackle, and then the speed to take it to the end zone. Here's Chubb, the guy we talked about from the top. It's a disruptive force, but a good block by Herndon, the linebacker, or the tight end of that side. And good vision by Walton to get to the backside on the cutback and pushes it in the end zone for his third rushing touchdown of the day. Was it 14 on the year?
You are correct, sir. 14 rushing touchdowns for Mark Walton. 30 yards, 1 yard, and now 24 yards to go over 1,000 for the season for Mark Walton. So both Matt Days and Mark Walton have eclipsed the 1,000-yard mark.
Yeah, and 2 guys probably that, you know, if you talked about the top backs in the conference, you're talking about Gallman and Connor, and you're talking about Dalvin Cook. These 2 guys probably got left out of the mix a little bit. 2 really good backs, Roddy, that go over 1,000 today.
They're 2 really good backs, and on the Miami side, I mean, they've got 2 really good backs behind them. Joseph Yearby ran for 1,000 yards last season. Gus Edwards was a highly recruited guy that they were really excited about. Had some injury issues in the spring that didn't allow him to participate in a lot of the offseason training. So this Miami team is loaded at the running back position, and Mark Walton showed you why he should definitely be in that conversation, as you said.
Yeah, and loaded for a couple of years to come. Now, Walton is a sophomore. Yearby is a junior. I mean, these guys aren't going anywhere. Njoku, if he comes back, he's a redshirt sophomore. Kaya is a junior. Now, many feel like Kaya, one of those guys that take a look at what's going on at the next level. But this is a Miami team, and you look at the defensive side of the ball, they have 2 seniors on defense. It's a Miami team that's loaded for next year.
Dave, our Duluth Trading Company hardest working player is 21 in red.
Yeah, and why not? It's his day, senior day here at Carter Finley. Goes over 1,000 yards. Now, it has been a workmanlike effort, no question about it. Hardest working, no question. 3.8 yards a carry, but Matt Days stuck his hand in the air, was counted today as a member of the Wolfpack.
3-yard TD run in the third quarter for Matt Days, who came back from that season-ending foot injury against Clemson in late October last season.
This is an area where Finley's going to have to improve from understanding what teams are trying to do. They've got good perimeter players, but he's got to understand when you've got a guy like Matt Days who checked down over the ball, got to get him the ball. They're not paying any attention to Matt Days on the check down, and that last play, he had nobody around him. They're not paying any attention to Days on the check down.
A little bit shorter week coming up for NC State. They will be at North Carolina this Friday at noon in the 106th meeting between NC State and North Carolina. Dave, still with a chance to become bowl eligible.
Yeah, there's no question about it. It's not over. The season not over for Dave Dorn's team. He wants them to, he's encouraging, come on, keep playing. He understands that the score a little out of whack right now with 2 touchdown deficit, but he wants these guys to fight to the finish.
Fourth down, and NC State's going to go for it.
Yeah, you need some crossing routes or something. Get somebody running away from these Miami defenders.
Finley hit as he delivers it. Too high for Lewis.
Yeah, Miami just sitting down on the routes and really no chance there for that. You're looking for some crossing routes or something for Finley to get the ball. Been a tough day for Finley. This Miami defense has put a licking on the quarterback for NC State.
They've credit to the Canes. They're going to improve to 7-4, 4-3 in conference play. Win their 3rd in a row. They will host Duke next Saturday. But on the other side of the field, Dave, it's about the emotion of senior day and 14 players wearing this uniform for NC State for the final time for their head coach, Dave Dorn.
Yeah, and it's an emotional day, and obviously Dave Dorn's #1 goal was not to put any numbers up. The only number he wanted was he wanted his team to have more points than Miami today, and that's not going to happen. It's tough to send a group of guys that have meant as much as these seniors have meant to NC State away with a loss in their final game at Carter Finley.
Pack going to drop to 5-6 and 2-5 in conference play. The record here at Carter Finley Stadium goes to 4-3. Our final game of the regular season here on the ACC Network coming up next Saturday. We're going to Heinz Field. The Orange and the Panthers, an Eastern football rivalry renewed for the 72nd time. Last year, David went down to a field goal by Chris Blewett, who likes to hit field goals as time expires. He won the game against the Orange.
Yeah, I'm excited about that matchup. Obviously, Pitt coming off their big win and playing today, but coming off their big win at Clemson. And we know that Syracuse found a way to beat Virginia Tech earlier in the year. That'll be a great matchup between Pat Narduzzi's defense and what they do against Dino Babers' offense. It'll be a lot of fun.
And Pittsburgh leading Duke right now 21-7 as congratulations being exchanged on that Miami sideline in a very hard-fought victory. Manny Diaz, sort of a chest bump kind of thing. I don't know. Well, just a happy guy, I guess.
Think about
why not
where they're trying to get to Miami defensively now. They're 13th in the country in scoring defense, and that's the #1 stat you're looking at, trying to keep people off the scoreboard. Okay, they gave up 13 points today to an NC State team that can score points, that has weapons all over the field. They're trending in the right direction. I know the fans are a little upset that it hadn't gone quite as well as they would have liked, but it's going the right way.
There's your comparison, Dave. Mark Walton on the left, Matt Days on the right, both going over 1,000 for the season.
2 workhorses, no question, and 2 guys that have a lot of respect for each other, Dave Dorn and Coach Mark Richt, but 2 running backs that stood tall. That guy right there is going to be a problem for somebody down the road. Njoku was a big timer today.
Dave, halftime is for adjustments, and that's what both of these teams did. We were tied 3-3 at halftime.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was more than just a kick in the rear end by Mark Richt. And Mark's a very calm guy, but I think there was a little dander built up in him going at halftime as they didn't play very well on the offensive line. Let's go down to Roddy with head coach Mark Richt.
Coach, first off, congrats on the win. What's it mean to your football team?
It's huge. We've been battling so hard like everybody else. I mean, we're all battling away, you know, trying to get these victories, but just really proud of these guys, especially second half. We played extremely well most of the time in the second half, and we did it again. And then to finish the game like that offensively, 1 more score was huge. To take a little bit of the drama out of it, I like those 2.
Now, your ability to run the ball, particularly in the second half, Mark Walton, 120 yards. What was behind that?
Well, you got to block well for sure. And he broke some tackles. We talked about that, you know. And I told the guys in the perimeter, I said, look, we're going to break a tackle here. And that better be the moment that you're blocking your guy downfield. So I'm assuming they did a good job downfield blocking as well.
Amon Richards, 117 yards receiving, sets the single-season record for a freshman. What's that mean to your football team, and how hard does he work to get there?
Well, you know, the first time I saw his high school tape, I knew he was going to be a great one. And then when I met him, I knew even more so because of the type of person that he is and the way he was raised. And he's just a beautiful kid. He stuck to his commitment to Miami, and it's paid off for him and our team.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations on the win.
All right, thank you, Roddy.
Guys.
Roddy, thank you. Mark Richt, who played quarterback at Miami, Dave, late 70s, early 80s. It appears they've got the right guy at the helm now for the Miami Hurricanes.
Just a lot of fun to watch his team kind of take on his personality and some of the kids he's recruited. He's excited about that, no question.
How about the second half? 3 touchdowns and a field goal for Miami as we go back down to Roddy.
I've got Mark Walton and Amon Richards. We'll start with you, Mark. 120 yards on the ground. What was working for you guys, especially in the second half?
I mean, we just kind of try to come in and cut down the play calling, just try to work with the plays that's going to go for us. O-line did a great job coming in the second half, adjusting to the defense, and they created lanes, and I just was hitting it.
Seemed like a physical football game. You ran physical throughout the football game. How does it feel to be in a game that's so smash-mouth like this one was?
I mean, as a running back, we live up to this moment. Coming in there with the ranked #1 defense on stopping the run. I just wanted to go out there and show that we can run the ball. We get over 100 yards.
Now, this win for you guys, just another step in the right direction. What's it mean to your football team?
Oh, that's huge, man. Coming off on 4 losses, we on a winning streak right now. I mean, we're just trying to get to the bowl game and trying to win that. It's huge.
Now, let's go to Amon. Amon, 117 yards today. You set the single-season freshman record for Miami history for most receiving yards. What's that mean to you?
I mean, it means everything. You work so hard and you come in with expectations, And, some of them is like crazy expectations you think to yourself. But, I mean, this is one of my goals, to break the record. But, I mean, I just try to put the team first. But, I mean, I broke the record. So, I mean, that means everything to me and my family back home. I know they're proud of me. So.
Now, the coaches have talked about the workman-like attitude that you brought to this football team when you stepped on campus. What was behind that?
Just not think of yourself as a freshman. Just come in and just try and compete and work your hardest, and good things will always happen when you work hard. So I mean that's my mindset. That's what my dad always teaching me and my parents.
Now you've got some experienced guys around you. One of them, your quarterback Brad Kaya. How good was he for you guys today, and how has he helped your development?
He's been a huge part. He's placing the ball in just areas where the defenders can't knock the ball down. Just stuff like that. Just him trusting me, and I mean that gives me confidence also.
Congrats on the win and congrats on the record.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Tom, Arch, back to you.
Yeah, Roddy, fun to listen to those two guys, 2 young players, a sophomore and a freshman. Those are the 2 guys Roddy just talked about, and you could see the poise and you can see the experience kind of they're getting on the field, learning in the classroom on the field. A lot of fun to watch.
27-13 is the final. The Canes have now won 3 games in a row with the victory against NC State. It was a very exciting Saturday of college football. 1 more to go here on the ACC Network, and it has been a tremendous season up until this point. For highlights and must-see moments from this game and others, check out theACC.com. Join us for the ACC Blitz, powered by Ram Trucks, next Saturday at noon, followed by the Mellow Mushroom Game of the Week, Syracuse at Pittsburgh. You've been watching coverage of Atlantic Coast Conference football on the ACC Network, an exclusive production of Raycom Sports. It's the Canes over the Pack.